Chapter 1007. Because Ning Qing didn't ask for help, the three people from the Void Star sect sat in their seats and didn't speak much. "What do you want?" Wei Qi asked with a gloomy tone. Ning Cheng's gaze swept to the tea table that Wei Qi had just smashed and calmly spoke up, "Your Wei clan didn't succeed in snatching a beauty, so I won't pursue it. As I said just now, this tea table is one of my best treasures. You damaged my transcendent artifact. What do you think I want to do? I happen to have half a high-grade spirit vein, so I'll use it as compensation for you." An ordinary jade tea table turned out to be a top-grade weapon. Wei Qi didn't want to stay here and talk nonsense. He just wanted to leave as soon as possible. If he could, he would have slapped Wei Jingbing to death. If it weren't for this idiot, he wouldn't have treated Ning Cheng as a rogue cultivator. Even if he had to come here, he would have investigated thoroughly. Half a high-grade spirit vein for a broken tea table, he almost vomited blood. Ning Cheng spoke up lightly, "I don't have any objections to the price, but you damaged 2 tea tables. Do you think you can just compensate me with one?" "Ning Cheng, don't go too far." Wei Jingbing knew that he was finished. After this incident, the Wei clan would never find a way to detoxify him. At this time, he could only hold on to the broken jar and shout angrily. Ning Qing hadn't spoken yet when Qi Shixingsing, sitting on the side, spoke up, "So what if I bully your Wei clan?" "If it weren't for your Wei clan, would Ning Cheng have smashed the tea table in anger?" "Naturally, your Wei clan will bear this debt. Shixingsing is right. That's the truth." Ning Cheng gave a thumbs up and praised him. Wei Jingbing wanted to speak, but Wei Qi reached out and stopped him. With a calm face, he took out a ring and threw it to Ning Cheng. "This is a high-grade spirit vein. Can we go now? Seeing your sincerity in compensation, I won't argue with you. However, you sure have a lot of high-grade god spiritual veins. Just a moment ago, you only had half a vein. Now, you suddenly have another one." Ning Cheng confirmed that there was a high-grade god spiritual vein in the ring and spoke in a sarcastic tone. Wei Qi didn't say a word, he just cupped his fists towards Gong Yangdi and Wu Bufeng, turned around and left quickly. After the several people from the Wei clan left, Ning Cheng turned to Wu Bufeng and the others and cupped his fists before speaking. "A few bad guests disturbed everyone's mood. Now there are no outsiders here." After saying that, Ning Cheng waved his hand and activated the restriction at the door of the room. He then took out some spiritual tea and asked Lu Fanglin to serve it to the guests. Gong Yangdi also felt shocked in his heart. He had never expected that Ning Cheng would be acquainted with the sect master of the Void Star sect. Moreover, the sect master had even taken the initiative to visit him. At this moment, he also felt somewhat restrained. However, since he wanted to make friends with Ning Cheng, he decided to take the initiative to speak up. "That Wei clan really doesn't know what they are talking about. I don't know where they got the confidence to even slap the table in Pill Sage Ning's room." Ning Cheng gave a smile, "That Wei Jingbing was poisoned by the tattooed bone poison and wanted to ask me to help him detoxify it. However, I wasn't in the mood to help him. That old man got angry and started smashing things around my room. At least the Wei family was reasonable enough to compensate for my tea table." Percy and the others were speechless. "You don't own this tea table, do you? A high-grade spirit vein compensating for 2 tea tables. Even the top 10 sects couldn't talk about this kind of thing often." Bauer Flute didn't know why Wei Qi got angry, but he still felt a bit surprised that Wei Qi wanted Ning Cheng to help him detoxify the tattooed bone poison. But then again, if Ning Cheng couldn't detoxify this poison in the Grand Essence realm, no one else could. Pill-Seeking Association's association head Si Chen and Qiu Tian. "Don't joke around." Qi Shixingsing and Lu Fanglin looked at Ning Cheng speechlessly. Wei Qi came here to teach him a lesson. When did he come here to ask Ning Cheng for help? Wu Bufeng still had a black face as he cupped his fists and said, "Pill Sage Ning, because my Void Star sect only has one set of herbs for the sky replenishing bone pill, I chose it carefully. Here, I would like to apologize to Pill Sage Ning. Today, we came here for the same purpose as them. We want to ask Pill Sage Ning for pills. Of course, my Void Star sect doesn't dare to force Pill Sage Ning. It's all up to Pill Sage Ning. If Pill Sage Ning still doesn't want to help us with alchemy, we will leave immediately. Ning Qing sneered in his heart. If I don't help you with alchemy, you want to leave immediately. Don't lie to me. I'm afraid that even if the sheep archer flute was here, you might still take me away by force. Ning Qing saw this very clearly. If he really didn't want to help with alchemy, he wouldn't have stayed here to wait for the people from Void Star sect. Although Ning Qing intended to help with alchemy, he still felt a little upset in his heart. His strength was too low. If he was strong enough, he wouldn't have to fear Wu Bufeng's threat. Refine the sky replenishing bone pill. Lu Fonglin looked at Ning Qing in disbelief. She finally understood why Ning Qing said that if she stayed in the Grand Essence Ruins public square, he might have a chance to detoxify her. It turned out that Ning Qing had already calculated that the Void Star sect would come to him for alchemy. The Void Star sect was a mysterious sect on par with the top 10 sections. It wasn't surprising that they could find the herbs for the sky replenishing bone pill. But what was strange was that Ning Qing was a pill sage. How dare he take over the task of refining the sky replenishing bone pill? Didn't Ning Qing know that once he failed, he would die directly? Ning Qing made a very embarrassed look and pondered for a while before speaking. For Sect Master Wu's sake, I naturally can't refuse this favor. It's just that refining the sky replenishing bone pill would consume too much energy. I'm afraid. Wu Bufeng sneered. Consume my ass. Don't you just want benefits? Pill Sage Ning, if you can help my Void Star sect refine this furnace of sky replenishing bone pill, we only want 1/3 of the medicinal pills. In addition, my Void Star sect is willing to take out 2 high-grade spirit veins and become Pill Sage Ning's best ally. Wu Bufeng directly stated the actual conditions. Ning Qing didn't take Wu Bufeng's words to heart at all. It would be strange if he could become the best ally with such an exchange of benefits. Unless the Void Star sect sincerely asked him to refine the pill from the beginning, and he didn't ask for any reward, anything else would be empty. Compared to the arbitrary conditions he put forward, Ning Qing was more satisfied with Wu Bufeng's words. He could sense that the skeletal man the Void Star sect wanted to detoxify was not simple. If he helped refine the antidote and asked for more benefits, he would most likely be silenced. Thinking of this, Ning Qing deliberately gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, I'll go all out. I'll help you refine this furnace of sky replenishing bone pill." In front of a Dao Fusion Holy Emperor, Lu Fonglin didn't dare to send a sound transmission to Ning Qing. She could only keep looking at Ning Qing, hoping that Ning Qing would understand her meaning. She wanted Ning Qing to say that if the refinement failed, it would be because both parties were willing. The Void Star sect couldn't force Ning Qing to take responsibility for it. Ning Qing acted as if he didn't see Lu Fonglin's gaze. He directly brought out the furnace and said, "Sect Master Wu, take out the herbs." He understood what Lu Fonglin meant. In fact, he knew that even if Wu Bufeng agreed to his request, it was just nonsense. Once he failed, he could only wait for death. It didn't make any sense to ask for Wu Bufeng's promise. Seeing that Ning Qing didn't mention what would happen if the refinement failed, Wu Bufeng showed a look of appreciation. Ning Qing really had some skills to become a Dao Essence pill sage. But when he saw Ning Qing take out the pill furnace and ask him to take out the herbs for the sky replenishing bone trace pill, he immediately asked, "Pill Sage Ning, are you going to concoct pills here?" Naturally. After Ning Qing answered, he didn't speak anymore. He chose to concoct pills in front of everyone's eyes, so he naturally had his own purpose. Okay. Wu Bufeng raised his hand and took out a ring and placed it in Ning Qing's hand. Pill Sage Ning, these are the herbs for the sky-replenishing bone trace pill. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell into the ring. Sure enough, there were 1 to 200 kinds of divine grasses inside. Each one was protected by restrictions and stored very well. He quickly found the main ingredients for the sky-replenishing bone trace pill. They were the void-breaking firmament fruit, silk-sifting silver phoenix grass, wonder heartwood sprout, and void dewdrops. Among them, the void-breaking firmament fruit was a Tao transformation Tao fruit, while the silk-sifting silver phoenix grass and wonder heartwood sprout were all law attribute divine grasses. If the void-breaking firmament fruit and silk-sifting silver phoenix grass were extremely difficult to find, then the wonder heartwood sprout was even more difficult. However, the most difficult thing to find wasn't the nomological Tao fruits or divine grasses, but the void dewdrops that didn't have any laws. Void dewdrops only existed in the void. Not only were there very few of them, but they would also dissipate very quickly. In other words, once a void dewdrop appeared in the void, if one didn't collect it in time, the void dewdrop would disappear in a moment. Void dewdrops could not only be used in the sky-replenishing bone trace pill but also in many detoxification pills. Moreover, it was a treasure for refining top-grade healing pills, something that could only be found but not sought. Wu Buffing had given him 6 drops of void dewdrops, which showed how much effort the Void Star sect had put into this pill. Refining the sky-replenishing bone trace pill generally required 3 to 4 drops of void dewdrops. To ensure the success of the pill, Ning Qing decided to use 4 drops. As for the other 2 drops, he would naturally keep them for himself. After checking that he didn't lack any divine grasses, Ning Qing put up a simple spiritual consciousness shielding restriction and directly brought out the nameless flame. Seeing Ning Qing start to put the divine grasses into the furnace, no one dared to speak. They all nervously stared at Ning Qing, who was inside the restriction. Lu Fanglin's heart pounded even harder. Ning Qing actually dared to refine the sky-replenishing bone trace pill. One had to know that even Si Chen and Qiu Tian wouldn't dare to refine such a Tao pill. Thinking of how she had said in front of Ning Qing that she was a Tao-raising pill deity and asked Ning Qing to look for her if he needed any help in refining pills, Lu Fanglin felt even more embarrassed. At the same time, she also thought that if Ning Qing succeeded in refining the pill, it would mean that she could also detoxify the poison. This complicated thought made her unable to stop her heartbeat. Wu Buffing apparently also heard Lu Fanglin's heartbeat and immediately stared at Lu Fanglin with dissatisfaction. Only then did Lu Fanglin wake up. Not only was there a Tao Essence Holy Emperor here, but there was also a Chaos Essence Holy Emperor. She forcibly suppressed her excitement and focused on watching Ning Qing refine the pill. Chapter 1008. One by one, Ning Qing threw the divine grasses into the furnace. Ning Qing remained very careful while refining this furnace of medicinal pills. It was related to his life. No matter how difficult it was to refine a Tao transformation Tao pill, there was still a huge gap between the primordial Tao pill and the Tao transformation Tao pill. Ning Qing had once refined a furnace of 6 Yin soul pills. Even if this furnace of medicinal pills was refined with the help of the bestowing lawless fruit, his experience in the Tao of alchemy couldn't be erased. Ning Qing had refined many furnaces of Tao transformation pills, but the sky-extending mark bone pill was very difficult to refine. However, Ning Qing already had the experience of refining the 6 Yin soul pill, as such he did not feel that refining the heaven-extending bone vein pill was too difficult. Coupled with Ning Qing's deeper understanding of the returning to one Tao and the integration of the returning to one Tao into the alchemy Tao, his understanding of Tao pills was far beyond that of ordinary Tao transformation alchemy saints. Si Chen Qiu Tian was right about one thing. The pill Tao was also a type of Tao. If you want to become the best alchemy sage, then your Tao must be able to explain the alchemy Tao. Without the interpretation of one's own great Tao, the Tao of alchemy could only be like what Si Chen and Qiu Tian said, a small Tao of alchemy. Regarding this point, Ning Cheng's understanding was perhaps even deeper than Si Chen and Qiu Tian. Because he cultivated the returning to one Tao, even Si Chen and Qiu Tian had to admit that Ning Cheng's grand Tao was much stronger than his. Hundreds of kinds of divine grasses melted in the furnace. After refining away the impurities, the essences fused together and tempered them repeatedly under Ning Cheng's alchemy Tao charm. Just as Ning Cheng said, he did not use any pill techniques at this time. There were only Tao rhymes. His Tao rhymes were different at every moment. The firmament-splitting fruit integrated into the furnace, and the laws condensed. The silk-silver phoenix grass melted into the furnace, and the laws condensed. The wonder heart tree sprout fused with the cauldron, the medicinal liquid essence condensed, the natural laws condensed, everything returning to one. Whether it was the Tao fruit laws of the void-splitting heaven-reaching fruit, or the spiritual grass laws of the silk gauze silver phoenix grass and the strange heartwood tree bud, Ning Cheng had completely integrated them into the medicinal pill laws. The Tao runes on the pill furnace had completely formed a pill rune space. The pill furnace in this space kept emitting clear sounds. From the beginning to the end, Ning Cheng's Tao fruit laws had never collapsed, nor had he been unable to control the condensation of the laws. Under his return to one Tao runes, everything seemed perfect. Outside the restriction, even the skeletal man nervously stared at Ning Cheng and the pill furnace. He could feel the rich pill charm coming from the pill furnace, knowing that the denser this pill charm was, the higher Ning Cheng's chances of success would be. However, he still felt somewhat uneasy in his heart. This could even be said to be his only chance. If Ning Cheng failed in his alchemy, then he would not be able to find such a batch of herbs. Even if he found such a furnace of medicinal ingredients, where would he go to find an alchemist to refine pills? Ning Cheng's alchemy had failed. Although the Void Star sect could kill Ning Cheng, it would not help the situation at all and would only increase the number of enemies. One had to know that Ning Cheng was a primordial Tao alchemy saint of the Pill Association. Any sect that wanted to kill him would have to consider the consequences. Lu Fanglin had long since immersed herself in the pill charm of Ning Cheng's alchemy. She was a Tao-nourishing pill deity. Facing this pill charm, she felt like a thirsty traveler in a desert encountering a sweet rain. She constantly sucked in this sweet rain. Half a day later, Ning Cheng suddenly started tapping on the pill furnace. At this moment, even Wu Bufeng stood up in excitement. Everyone knew that Ning Cheng was about to finish the pill. The sky-extending bone vein pill was pale yellow in color, but it didn't have any smell. Because of this, no one knew whether Ning Cheng's pill was a success or a failure. 6 pale yellow shadows finally flew out of the furnace and landed on a jade plate suspended not far from Ning Cheng. A crisp tinkling sound rang out, just like a celestial melody, which intoxicated everyone. Since the pill was out of the furnace, Ning Cheng most likely succeeded in refining it. Ning Cheng patted away the restrictions and came out with a weary look on his face. Fortunately, I didn't fail. Unfortunately, I only managed to refine half of the pill. Ning Cheng naturally didn't manage to refine half of the pill. The furnace was his weapon, and he had hidden 6 top-quality sky-extending bone vein pills in the center of the furnace. No one here knew about it. This was also the reason why he wanted to refine pills in front of everyone. That is, to tell the Void Star sect's Wu Bufeng. I really only refined 6 medicinal pills, and I didn't hide any of them. All of them are here. How could Wu Bufeng care about Ning Cheng saying that he only refined 6 sky-extending bone vein pills? He eagerly grabbed the jade plate in Ning Cheng's hand and stared at the 6 medicinal pills on the jade plate. His spiritual consciousness had already carefully examined the 6 medicinal pills. 6 sky-extending bone vein pills, 3 top quality and 3 top quality. After a while, he excitedly put the jade plate in front of the skeletal man. Ancestor Kong, this is the sky-extending bone vein pill. The skeletal man called Ancestor Kang's face also turned a little red, but he looked a lot calmer than Wu Bufeng. After looking at the jade plate for a while, he took out a top-quality sky extending bone vein pill and put it in his mouth. At this moment, all the people were staring at the skeletal man called Ancestor Kong. Ning Qing did not speak. Even if Wu Bufeng did not keep his promise and put away all 6 medicinal pills, he would not speak a single word of nonsense. What could he do if someone was stronger than him? After just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, a black chi rose from the top of the skeletal man's head. Wu Bufeng saw the opportunity and set up a hindering restriction to trap the skeletal man within. After a while, drops of black water slid down the skeletal man's body and was finally collected by him into a bottle made of unknown materials. An unbearable smell spread out, and the skeletal man's face turned paler and paler, while the flesh on his body also increased. A vast and terrifying aura rose from his body. Not to mention Ning Qing, even Gong Yangdi, who was standing on the side, felt terrified. Gong Yangdi soon guessed something, and his face turned pale. He did not expect the Void Star sect to have another Dao integration expert. This Dao integration expert had been poisoned by the bone vein poison, but Ning Qing had saved him. There were not more than a handful of Dao integration experts in the entire Grand Essence realm, but the Void Star sect had one. Once this news spread, it would be too shocking. Was this the aura of a Dao integration expert? Ning Qing also understood the skeletal man's cultivation, and he was secretly horrified. He knew that the skeletal man was strong, but he did not expect him to be this strong. No wonder the Void Star sect had worked so hard to detoxify him. What puzzled Ning Qing was that since this skeletal man was a Dao integration expert, who could be so powerful? Who could poison a Dao integration expert? The skeletal man's aura grew stronger and stronger, and soon, the entire Grand Essence ruins could feel this powerful aura. However, the skyrocketing aura didn't stop there. Instead, it continued to spread wildly. Another hour passed. Not only the Grand Essence ruins, but even the Grand Essence domain also felt this powerful aura. Many people immediately rushed towards the Grand Essence ruins. In just a short time, the Grand Essence ruins Divine Thunder House was surrounded by the Grand Essence realm's powerhouses. There were many powerhouses here, but no one dared to enter the Divine Thunder House. This aura clearly belonged to a Dao integration expert. Who would dare to offend a Dao integration expert in the Divine Thunder House without permission? Another 2 hours later, the skeletal man waved his hand, and the next moment, the restrictions around him disappeared without a trace. Even the skyrocketing aura also dissipated. When Ning Qing and the others saw him, he had already changed his clothes. Not only that, but he no longer looked like a thin skeleton and looked no different from an ordinary cultivator. Ning Qing even had to rub his eyes. It wasn't because this Dao integration holy emperor called Ancestor Kong had restored his cultivation, but because the other party was right in front of him, yet he couldn't see him. It was as if he had merged with the void, making it impossible for Ning Qing to catch him. When he returned to his senses, the person in front of him was still an ordinary cultivator. Ning Qing sucked in a breath of cold air. Dao integration, so strong. Pill Sage Ning, many thanks to you this time. You can take away your medicinal pill and detoxify your friend. Speaking of which, I also benefited from your friend's help. Ancestor Kong looked at Ning Qing and said calmly. Ning Qing felt shocked. He understood what this Ancestor Kong from the Void Star sect meant. The reason why he refined the sky-replenishing bone vein pill for him was because he wanted to detoxify Lu Fonglin. Obviously, Ancestor Kong had also seen through Lu Fonglin's poisoning. Many thanks for Senior's magnanimity. Since the other party understood his actions, Ning Qing didn't need to continue hiding it. Hiding something in front of a Dao integration holy emperor was simply an idiotic act. Fortunately, he had already put away his furnace. Otherwise, he didn't know if this guy could see the 6 special grade sky replenishing bone vein pills in the furnace. Ancestor Kong, have you really recovered? Wu Bufeng was still excited. The Void Star Sect's Tao Integration Holy Emperor had finally returned. Ancestor Kong nodded. His strength was far from recovering, and he needed to return to the sect for seclusion. However, it wasn't convenient to talk about it here. Seeing Ancestor Kong nod, Wu Bufeng suppressed the excitement in his heart. He took out a jade bottle and put away 2 special-grade sky replenishing bone vein pills and 1 high-grade sky replenishing bone vein pill. There were a total of 5 medicinal pills in the jade plate. According to the previous distribution plan, he could only take 1 more at most. However, Wu Bufeng seemed to have forgotten about the previous distribution plan. After putting away 3 medicinal pills, he said, "Pill Sage Ning, because we don't know the effects of the sky replenishing bone vein pill, we will lend you 2 medicinal pills for now. I will return them to you after confirming that there are no problems with the medicinal pills." Ning Qing sneered in his heart. Sure enough. When Wu Bufeng said that he wanted 1/3 of the medicinal pills, he guessed that this person would turn hostile. Now it seemed that he hadn't wrongly accused this black tortoise. Lend him 2 medicinal pills. Even an idiot knew that Wu Bufeng wouldn't return the 2 medicinal pills. Ning Cheng put away the 2 high-grade sky replenishing bone vein pills and said calmly, "Since Sect Master Wu wants to borrow the pills, then it's naturally up to Sect Master Wu. I believe that Sect Master Wu will return them in the future. However, we also talked about the remuneration of 2 high-grade God spiritual veins. I don't know if Sect Master Wu can give them to me together." Wu Bufeng not only accepted more sky replenishing bone vein pills, but he also pretended to not take out the high-grade God spiritual veins. Ning Cheng decided to take the initiative. He had just sculpted his Tao, and high-grade God spiritual veins were very important to him. Chapter 1009. Wu Bufeng nodded. That's right. There are indeed 2 high-grade divine spiritual veins. Because he came out in a hurry, he didn't bring the God spiritual vein with him. We can only trouble Pill Saint Ning to come with us to the Void Star sect. In order not to let Pill Saint Ning travel in vain, my Void Star sect will give Pill Saint Ning a surprise gift. Surprised you, old Mu, Ning Cheng cursed in his heart. He could even guess that this surprise was the medicinal pill that had trapped him in the Void Star sect for countless years. Ning Cheng had already guessed that Wu Bufeng was not a good person when he changed his mind at the last minute during the pill discussion assembly and did not allow him to refine pills. Because he did not believe in Wu Bufeng's character, Ning Cheng did not ask for an exorbitant price. Moreover, Wu Bufeng was the one who proposed the remuneration for alchemy, and Ning Cheng did not even ask for half a price. But he still didn't expect this guy to be so shameless. The Void Star sect was also a large sect, so why would they have to go back to the sect to collect 2 high-ranked spiritual veins? Who was he trying to fool? If Ning Cheng did not care much about it before, then they could just do business together. When Wu Bufeng refused to take out the spirit veins and even asked him to go to the Void Star sect to collect them, Ning Cheng felt a little worried. He really desired these 2 God spiritual veins. However, he would definitely not do something like losing his freedom or even his life. What Ning Cheng was most worried about at this moment was that Wu Bufeng would turn against him and directly kidnap him. He could only hope that Gong Yangdi's presence would scare the Void Star sect a little. Thinking of this, he hurriedly showed a pleasantly surprised expression, cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, Sect Master Wu. I have long heard of the Void Star sect's reputation, but I never thought that I would be able to experience it." Saying that, Ning Cheng looked at Lu Fonglin with some hesitation. When Lu Fonglin saw Ning Cheng looking at her, her eyes suddenly turned red. "Ning Cheng, I don't need you to care about me, you can go by yourself. In any case, I am a bitter person." Ning Cheng quickly spoke up, "Don't be like this, Fonglin. I won't go to the Void Star sect for now. I'll go to the Void Star sect after I'm done with you, okay?" After saying that, Ning Cheng did not wait for Lu Fonglin to speak and took the initiative to apologize to Wu Bufeng. "Sect Master Wu, I'm really sorry. I have some urgent matters to attend to right now, and I will definitely make a trip to the Void Star sect after I finish what I need to do. He secretly thanked Lu Fanglin in his heart. This woman was very smart. She knew that he didn't want to go and that he couldn't make things too awkward with Wu Bufeng. Ning Qing knew that refining this batch of medicinal pills for the Void Star sect would be risky, but the risk still exceeded his expectations. He had underestimated Wu Bufeng's shamelessness. At this moment, he even felt grateful to Wei Qi. If Wei Qi and company had not come, he would not have invited Gong Yangdi. Without the Bao Goat Flute, the Void Star sect might not be able to reason with him. At this moment, he could only hope that Wu Bufeng would be a little more fearful. The Void Star sect had a Dao Perfection Realm cultivator, but he couldn't dominate the Grand Essence Realm. At the very least, he was a primordial Dao Pill Saint. A trace of disappointment appeared on Wu Bufeng's face. With Gong Yangdi here, it would be inappropriate for him to make a move directly. It was true that Ancestor Tang's poison was detoxified, but to completely recover his vitality, he reckoned that he would need at least a few decades to a century. More importantly, Kong Zhu didn't say anything. Then I will wait for Pill Saint Ning at the Void Star sect. Wu Bufeng said with a smile, in the future, as long as Pill Saint Ning comes to the Grand Essence Sea's Su Meng Mountain Range, you can find my Void Star sect. I will remember Sect Master Wu's words. Ning Qing said politely. He heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Since Bufeng had said so, it meant that he would not use force. He didn't expect that a mysterious sect like the Void Star sect would be in the Grand Essence Sea. What kind of mountain range was there in the Grand Essence Sea? Everyone, please disperse. Don't gather here. Ancestor Tang suddenly said with a faint voice. The cultivators gathered outside the Divine Thunder Pavilion heard Ancestor Tang's voice clearly. No one dared to disobey his words and return to where they came from. Even if they wanted to discuss, they could only do so in whispers. Brother Ning, goodbye. It was not until this time that Percy couldn't help but greet Ning Cheng. He knew that this greeting signified the end of his friendship with Ning Cheng. After the three people from the Void Star sect walked away, Gong Yangdi asked cautiously, Brother Ning, was that a Dao Perfection expert from the Void Star sect? Compared to the news of Ning Cheng refining the sky replenishing bone vein pill, a Dao Perfection Holy Emperor shocked him even more. Ning Cheng nodded, it should be. At this time, he really wasn't in the mood to say anything. Gong Yangdi could feel that Ning Cheng was in a bad mood. Therefore, he casually said a few more words before saying goodbye. After sending Gong Yangdi away, Ning Cheng said to Lu Fanglin, Senior Apprentice Sister Lu, many thanks for this matter. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would have died. Lu Fanglin understood Ning Cheng's meaning and shook her head, I should be the one thanking you. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have chosen to stay here and help with alchemy. Lu Fanglin compared the previous events and guessed the general situation. Most likely, the Void Star sect looked for Ning Cheng for alchemy, but Ning Cheng refused. This time, Ning Cheng deliberately showed up, which allowed the Void Star sect to find this place again. No wonder this sect is called a mysterious sect. If the top 10 sects dared to do this, people would have already ganged up on them. Qi Shixingsing spoke with disdain. Ning Cheng waved his hand and didn't speak. He was like a child crossing the street with gold. It wasn't strange for the Void Star sect to have ideas about him. What's more, he had rejected the Void Star sect and even let them know that he didn't refine pills for the Void Star sect but for Lu Fanglin. After a while, Ning Cheng spoke up, what are your plans? Qi Shixingsing hesitated for a while before saying, I'm going to continue to the Grand Essence ruins. I must find the spirit technique of the Grand Essence Spirit Thunder. Lu Fanglin bit her lip, I have something to do. When I'm done, I'll come to you for help. Ning Cheng understood what Lu Fanglin meant when she said, help. That is, help her check. But how could he be in the mood to think about why Lu Fanglin would come to him for help after she finished her matter? He just wanted to leave as soon as possible. Senior apprentice Sister Lu, Shizingsing, let's exchange communication pearls. Then leave this place as soon as possible. We can't stay in the Grand Essence ruins for a long time. Even if Senior apprentice Sister Lu needs to find a separate place to cure her poison. Ning Qing then handed the 2 detoxification pills in his hand to Lu Fonglin. These 2 pills are for you. On an airship bound for the Grand Essence Sea, Percy sat in a corner with an ugly expression. Sect Master burning the bridge after crossing the river. If he saw Ning Qing again in the future, he would no longer have the face to call them friends. Wu Buffon glanced at Percy and said, "Percy, do you think I went too far?" Percy hesitated for a moment before standing up and bowing. "Sect Master, I think you should give those 2 spirit veins to Ning Qing on the spot." Wu Buffon spoke up in a deep voice, "I have a purpose for not giving them to him, but..." Ancestor Kang's voice came in time. "You want to ask why I didn't let you take Ning Qing away by force, right?" "Yes." Wu Buffon spoke up with respect, "That Ning Qing is a Tao Essence Pill Saint. Ancestor Kang, now that you've removed the tattoo bone poison, if another Tao Essence Pill Saint stands guard, then my Void Star sect." Although Wu Buffon wanted to take Ning Qing away by force, he didn't dare to do so without Ancestor Kang's words. Primordius might be strong, but a Primordius was nothing in the Grand Essence realm. Wu Buffon didn't continue, but Ancestor Kang and Percy understood what he meant. Ancestor Kang sighed, "If that Ning Qing really is a Tao Essence Pill Saint, then you can take him away. This risk is worth it for my Void Star sect. It's just that he's not a Tao Essence Pill Saint." "Ah!" Wu Buffon and Percy both exclaimed in surprise and looked at Ancestor Kang in puzzlement. They had seen it with their own eyes that Ning Qing was a Tao Essence Pill Saint. Not only had they seen it with their own eyes, but even Pill Association Master Si Chen and Qiu Tian had acknowledged Ning Qing as a Tao Essence Pill Saint and even issued him the golden qualification card of a Tao Essence Pill Saint. Why did Ancestor Kang say that Ning Qing wasn't a Tao Essence Pill Saint? Ancestor Kang spoke up with a solemn tone, that Ning Qing had been to the land of broken laws and must have encountered some amazing opportunities. Because when he was about to fail in refining the 6-yin soul pill, he took out the bestowing lawless fruit and added it to the pill furnace. Ancestor Kang. Wu Buffon felt even more surprised. Ancestor Kang was a Tao perfection expert, but at that time, Ancestor Kang had lost his cultivation. As such, Ancestor Kang's eyesight definitely couldn't compare to his. As if knowing what Wu Buffon wanted to say, Ancestor Kang shook his head, "I didn't see his actions, and I believe that Ning Qing was confident that no one could see his actions. But I've seen the bestowing lawless fruit before. As soon as he took it out, I could feel its aura. When he was about to fail, he forcibly used the bestowing lawless fruit to retain the 6-yin soul pill's laws." Percy didn't have much knowledge, but Wu Buffon clearly knew what the bestowing lawless fruit was. He immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. The 6-yin soul pill was indeed precious, but it couldn't compare to the bestowing lawless fruit. In the words of ordinary people, Ning Qing had exchanged gold for soil. It was not only extravagant but also a bit too wasteful. If it's not because he's young and loves his face, then Ning Qing must have some reason to participate in the 5 Realms pill competition. But one thing is certain. Ning Qing is just a Tao transformation pill saint, not a primordial Tao pill saint. Even if he's a powerful Tao transformation pill saint, it wouldn't make my Void Star sect take risks for him. Ancestor Kang said with a calm voice. Ning Qing didn't know that taking out the bestowing lawless fruit would save him from a calamity. I always suspected that he had concealed part of the heaven replenishing bone pill. But I didn't expect that he wasn't a primordial Tao pill saint. Wu Buffon suddenly spoke up. Ning Qing could refine the 6-yin soul pill and obtain a full pill. Moreover, refining the heaven replenishing bone pill, which was far inferior to the 6-yin soul pill, only produced 6 inferior Tao pills, which made him a little suspicious. Since it's a misunderstanding of Ning Cheng, let's return the 2 high-rank spirit veins to him. Percy quickly spoke up. Wu Buffing sneered, misunderstanding him. Do you think Ning Cheng is an idiot like you? Did he really sincerely want to refine pills for my Void Star sect? If it weren't for his woman suffering from the vein bone poison, would he have stayed in the Grand Essence ruins to help refine pills? Besides, how could he extort that spirit vein from the Wei clan? Wasn't it all because he borrowed my Void Star sect's name? What if Ning Cheng came to my Void Star sect after helping his Dao companion with her matters? Percy felt that Ning Cheng sincerely wanted to make friends with him, which made him feel a knot in his heart. However, he didn't dare to say it out loud. Ning Cheng didn't want to help with alchemy. Who could he blame for that? When he needed help the most, our Void Star sect could have helped him, yet he refused. With Ning Cheng's character, it would have been strange if he took the initiative to help with alchemy. Wu Buffing spoke up in a calm voice. If he really came, he would be a member of my Void Star sect. Chapter 10:10. Ning Cheng naturally wouldn't go to the Void Star sect. After separating from Lu Fonglin and Qi Shixingsing, he deliberately disguised himself as a middle-aged man and arrived at the Boundary Essence Spirit Sea City through the Grand Essence Ruins teleportation array. After arriving here, Ning Cheng did not call out Yan Ji, who was cultivating in the true spirit world. He followed the map given to him by Nalan Rushua and spent only a few days to find the hidden teleportation array on the edge of the Grand Essence Sea. The concealment array of the transmission array was very sophisticated. Ning Cheng had to admit that with his current means, he would not be able to arrange it. If Nalan Rushua hadn't told him about this place, then it would have been very difficult for him to find it alone. After Ning Cheng entered the concealment array, he saw a huge platform made of sea stone. The sea stone platform was protected by a powerful defensive array formation. Above the sea stone platform was obviously a transmission array. When Ning Cheng saw the traces of dismantling the transmission array, he realized that with his current attainments in the Tao of arrays, even if all the components of the transmission array were present, he would not be able to restore this transmission array. This Yan Ji and Nalan Rushua really dared to dream about it. Ning Cheng was sure that according to Yan Ji's thoughts, if she wanted to restore this transmission array, then even if she did not cultivate, and instead focused on researching array formations, it would still be impossible for her to do so without at least tens of thousands of years. Moreover, Yan Ji's aptitude in the Tao of arrays and her aptitude in cultivation were the same. Otherwise, even tens of thousands of years would not be enough. Ning Cheng also wanted to find the silver-haired woman from the Silver Dragon clan. However, he didn't know how she managed to reach the mysterious Yellow Starland. However, when he thought of his current situation, he gave up on this idea. The Silver Dragon clan was in the Grand Essence Sea, and he had offended the Barbarian Dragon clan. If Man Huishan didn't take action, who knew if someone else would take action against him? Besides, even if he returned to the 4 grand starry skies through other means, what if he came back in the future? After all, he still had to represent the Grand Essence realm in the 5 realms pill competition. After thinking about it again and again, Ning Cheng decided to stay in this transmission array, while at the same time studying array formations. In addition to the mysterious yellow beads wood origin, the 5 elements were basically complete. It could be said that even if Ning Cheng entered the mysterious yellow bead to cultivate, it would not be easy for others to perceive his mysterious yellow aura. Just in case, before entering the mysterious yellow bead, Ning Cheng arranged a shielding array formation and took out the drop of weak water to cover it. After Ning Cheng went into seclusion, the Grand Essence realm became very lively. The news that the primordial Tao alchemy saint had refined the sky-replenishing pattern bone pill had cured the pattern bone poison of the Tao integration sect's Tao integration sect expert had suddenly gained another Tao integration sect expert had spread like wildfire. The sudden rise of the mysterious Void Star sect made many sects wary, but at the same time, Ning Cheng's reputation grew even more resounding. The usefulness of a primordial Tao alchemy saint was demonstrated at this moment. Without a primordial Tao alchemy saint, who could save a cycle Tao expert? Some of the big sects who wanted Ning Cheng's help in alchemy started looking for Ning Cheng. But Ning Cheng seemed to have disappeared. Since refining the heaven-extending mark bone pill for the Void Star sect in the Grand Essence ruins, he had disappeared without a trace. Even the Star-Stepping Tower's master in Heaven Essence Sacred City's Lu Jiesheng, who wanted to secretly search for Ning Cheng, had to give up after not receiving any news about Ning Cheng for a long time. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Ning Cheng had successfully advanced to the middle stage Tao sculpting realm because of his epiphany on the Tao of returning to one during the pill discussion conference. After advancing to the middle stage Tao sculpting realm, Ning Cheng concentrated on studying the Tao of arrays, and his attainment in the Tao of arrays rose from a beginner-level spirit array master to a middle-level spirit array master. To Ning Cheng's disappointment, even if he advanced to a middle-level spirit array master, it would still be too difficult to restore the components of the teleportation array. The higher his attainment in the Tao of arrays, the more he could feel the complexity and power of this teleportation array. Ning Cheng estimated that even if he advanced to a top-grade spirit array master, it would still be difficult to restore this teleportation array. Moreover, if he wanted to advance to a top-grade spirit array master, he wouldn't be able to concentrate on studying the Tao of arrays for a few decades. Ning Cheng sighed. He didn't know if he should continue studying it or not. There were only 2 years left before the 5 Realms pill competition. According to this time, he wouldn't have the chance to return to the 4 grand starry skies. Ning Cheng, I'm going to come out to face the tribulation. While Ning Cheng was still struggling, Yan Ji's voice reached his ears. Yan Ji had reached the full circle of the life and death realm and was ready to advance to the eternal realm. Hearing that Yan Ji was about to advance, Ning Cheng felt overjoyed. He didn't expect Yan Ji to advance so quickly. But it seemed that after Yan Ji's qualifications improved several times in a row, and with the help of top-grade cultivation resources, her cultivation speed was even faster than he expected. Someone is facing tribulation in this place. 3 cultivators looking for resources on the edge of the Grand Essence Sea saw the lightning arcs of Yan Ji's tribulation and immediately rushed over. It's a female cultivator advancing to the eternal realm. The 3 cultivators who came over quickly felt Yan Ji's cultivation. Because Yan Ji's tribulation was too big of a target, and there was a pile of spirit crystals arranged into a spiritual gathering array, it attracted the attention of several people. However, they didn't care about Ning Cheng, who was guarding Yan Ji a little further away from the spiritual gathering array. These people only had eyes for the piles of spirit crystals at the place where Yan Ji was facing the tribulation. Even if they saw Ning Cheng on the side, none of them would care about him. The reason why Ning Cheng stayed far away from Yan Ji was that he feared that Yan Ji's thunder tribulation would grow stronger because of him. Yan Ji didn't have a thunder spiritual root. If the thunder tribulation grew stronger, she would most likely get seriously injured or even die in the thunder tribulation. Seeing these people rushing over with red eyes, how could Ning Cheng not understand what they meant? He raised his hand and shot out a few lightning arcs. His lightning arcs were quite simple. Although it couldn't deal with experts, it didn't take much effort to deal with a few eternal cultivators. Boom boom boom. 4 lightning arcs suddenly fell on the 3 eternal cultivators rushing over. The eternal cultivator, who bore 2 of the lightning arcs, died instantly. The other 2 were badly injured and were scared out of their wits. They immediately turned around and tried to escape. You guys have some guts. You even dared to rush up when you saw someone guarding you. Ning Cheng stepped in front of the 2 cultivators who wanted to escape. Senior, please spare our lives. We work for the Pill Union and accidentally offended Senior. We didn't mean to come here. The late-stage Eternal Cultivator saw Ning Cheng kill one of them and understood that Ning Cheng was a decisive person. Therefore, he quickly brought up the Pill Union. Ning Cheng sneered, does the Pill Union want two eternal cultivators like you to work for? Is your face whiter than other people's butts? Ha! A burst of laughter came, and a moment later, a red figure landed not far from Ning Cheng. I don't know if these two people's faces are whiter than their butts, but they didn't lie. They really work for the Pill Union. The red figure wasn't because of the person's clothes, but because of his long hair. He had long red hair, and when he rushed over, he looked like a red shadow. Ning Cheng's eyes shrank slightly. He had seen this person before. When he first arrived in the Grand Essence realm, he fell into the Grand Essence Sea. This red-haired man was the first person he saw when he arrived in the Grand Essence realm. At that time, this red-haired man seemed to be chasing someone, and a single attack from him created a wave tens of thousands of feet high. It was truly amazing. Ning Cheng also almost died because of the shockwaves from the red-haired man's attack. He was an eternal cultivator, yet he almost died because of the shockwaves from someone else's battle. It truly felt depressing. Moreover, it was from a distance. If it were closer, Ning Cheng would have already turned into dust. Ning Cheng didn't expect to see this red-haired man again after so many years. Now that Ning Cheng saw it clearly, this person had a full-circle Dao transformation realm cultivation. Most likely, he was half-step into the second-step Dao essence realm. Although he had discovered this person a moment ago, Ning Cheng still felt a little bit of fear in his heart. Because when Ning Cheng discovered this person was already very close to him. I seem to have seen you before. After the red-haired man saw Ning Cheng, he frowned and spoke up. Then, he remembered, yes, I remember now. Many years ago, I was chasing a thin-horned flood dragon in this area, and you were in the sea. Huh, why are you still alive? After remembering Ning Cheng, the red-haired man stared at Ning Cheng in surprise. Ning Cheng was just a puny eternal cultivator. If he fell into the Grand Essence Sea, he should have died a long time ago. But this red-haired man was a half-step Dao Essence Realm cultivator. Ning Cheng didn't care too much about it. He was at the middle stage Dao sculpting realm, and his cultivation was much stronger than the early stage Dao sculpting realm. Ning Cheng could kill Ding Si, a top-grade Dao transformation expert, when he was at the early stage Dao sculpting realm. Now that he was at the middle stage Dao sculpting realm, he didn't fear this red-haired man. As long as he didn't step into the Dao essence realm, he would only belong to the Dao transformation realm. Dao friend didn't die, so how can I die first? Ning Cheng replied with a calm tone. The red-haired man froze for a moment. He didn't expect Ning Cheng to dare speak to him in such a tone. But he quickly reacted. Not only did he not get angry, but he also laughed and said, "Good, impressive. In such a short time, you successfully advanced from the eternal realm to the Dao sculpting realm. You indeed have the confidence to say such words. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ba Meng, and I also have a nickname, Red Hair by the Sea. I didn't care about your life and death back then. It was my fault." Ning Cheng didn't expect this red-haired man to be so upright. His cultivation was clearly much higher than his own, but he still apologized to him. To be honest, in that situation, he didn't care much about the red-haired man's actions. Why would a Dao transformation expert care about the life and death of a puny eternal cultivator who fell into the sea? Even now, Ba Meng's cultivation was much higher than his. Of course, Ning Cheng believed that Ba Meng didn't know about his actual combat strength. Because he didn't know about his strength, Ba Meng's apology seemed more sincere. Ning Cheng and Ba Meng didn't know each other. Therefore, he didn't think that Ba Meng would deliberately show goodwill to him. The two eternal cultivators, who hadn't been killed, felt terrified when they heard Ba Meng say that Ning Cheng was a Dao sculpting holy emperor. Now that the two heard Ba Meng say that he was red hair by the sea, they felt even colder. Both of them muttered to themselves, wondering if they didn't check the time before coming out. After Ba Meng finished, he didn't wait for Ning Qing to speak. Instead, he pointed to the two eternal cultivators and said, they should be looking for divine grasses for Pill Union's Cheng Ho Tian. Cheng Ho Tian was poisoned by the tattoo bone poison, and Pill Union's association master Si Chen Chiu Tian wanted to refine the sky extending tattoo bone pill to detoxify Cheng Ho Tian. However, he lacked a few divine grasses. Now, the entire Grand Essence realm is looking for these divine grasses. Therefore, when they said that they were working for the Pill Union, they weren't talking nonsense. Ning Qing froze. Cheng Ho Tian was poisoned, and it was the tattoo bone poison. How could there be such a coincidence? Chapter 10-11. Ning Qing quickly came to understand that there would definitely not be such a coincidence, someone was definitely looking for him. Gong Yangdi knew that he could refine the cloud-replenishing pattern bone pill. Gong Yangdi felt that there was no need to hide this matter. Most likely, everyone knew about it now. Cheng Ho Tian was also his friend, and it just so happened that Cheng Ho Tian was poisoned by the tattoo bone poison. Even the eternal level cultivators at the edge of the Grand Essence Sea knew about Cheng Ho Tian's poisoning. As long as he was still in the Grand Essence realm, he would definitely know about it. Cheng Ho Tian was his friend. What would he do if he knew about this? He would definitely go to the Elixir Association to look for Cheng Ho Tian so that he could help him refine the sky-replenishing bone vein pill. Ning Qing estimated that after a period of time, the main materials for the heaven-extending vein bone pill would spread out, and would be waiting for him to go back and refine the pill. Who's looking for him? No matter who was looking for him, there was one thing that Ning Qing was sure of, that the person looking for him was definitely not someone with good intentions. Two seniors, this junior is working for the Pill Association and inadvertently offended the seniors. Please forgive us. The two eternal cultivators spoke while retreating. Ning Qing raised his hand and shot out several lightning arcs. Whether it was because of these two people's intentions towards Yan Ji, or for his own safety, he had to kill these two people. As for this red-haired Dao transformation cultivator, Ning Qing felt a little conflicted. He might not be able to kill the other party. Regarding Ning Qing killing two eternal-level cultivators, Ba Meng didn't feel surprised at all. If someone had designs on his Dao companion, he would kill them without hesitation. After Ning Qing put away the rings of several eternal cultivators, he looked at Ning Qing with a smile and said, "Do you specialize in thunder-attributed cultivation?" Ning Qing nodded, "I do not specialize in the thunder attribute, but I do have a thunder spiritual root." Alright, let's talk about a collaboration. If you accompany me to a place, I will give you a miracle crossing Dao fruit. How about it? Ba Meng continued to speak with great anticipation. Ning Qing felt a little speechless. Not to mention the miraculous crossing Dao fruit, he even had 1 or 2 bottles of miraculous crossing Dao pills in his ring. Duqi Dao fruit was a Dao fruit that allowed Dao molding divine emperors to comprehend Dao nourishment divine emperors and increase their chances of reaching Dao nourishment divine emperors. This Dao fruit was indeed precious to other Dao molding divine emperors. For Ning Qing, it was not much different from garbage. "I'm sorry, but my strength is limited, and I cannot go anywhere with this Dao friend." Ning Qing did not hesitate to cup his fists and refuse. Ba Meng didn't seem to expect that Ning Qing wouldn't even ask about the place and would directly reject it. He froze for a moment before speaking up, "Do you think that 1 crossing Qi Dao fruit isn't enough? How about this, you name your conditions." Ning Qing spoke up apologetically, "My strength is limited, so I need to find a place to go into secluded cultivation." Ba Meng's gaze swept over Yan Ji, who was in the midst of transcending her tribulation. He pondered for a moment before saying, "What you said makes sense. How about this, I have a way to help you advance to the late-stage Dao sculpting realm in a short time." Ning Qing sneered in his heart. He was a pill saint, not an idiot. Not to mention advancing to the late-stage Dao modeling in a short time, he could also advance to the Dao birth in a short time. However, this was all based on the premise of ignoring one's foundation and destroying the laws of the Grand Tao. He had the mysterious yellow bead, and had a bright future ahead of him. How could he be so short-sighted? Not interested. Ning Cheng did not have the patience to slowly find a reason to refuse, and simply directly refused. After rejecting Ba Meng, Ning Cheng was ready to go all out against Ba Meng. Now that he had advanced to the middle stage Tao sculpting realm, as long as he laid out the proper arrangements, he would most likely be able to kill Ba Meng. But to Ning Cheng's surprise, Ba Meng did not plan to start. Instead, he took in a deep breath and spoke with a low tone. Do you know about the Grand Essence in Nether Realm? Ning Cheng shook his head. He truly did not know about it. Ba Meng, on seeing that Ning Cheng did not know about it, simply explained, after a cultivator falls, as long as their spirit soul does not perish, they can enter the reincarnation cycle. The Grand Essence in Nether Realm is the passageway for cultivators' souls to enter the reincarnation cycle. Unfortunately, I heard that the reincarnation cycle in the Grand Essence in Nether Realm has shattered. Wait. Ning Cheng suddenly thought of Sun Hanrui, who had not woken up yet. Sun Hanrui's soul regenerated very slowly, and he could not go back in a short time. He did not know if the Grand Essence in Nether Realm Ba Meng mentioned had anything to do with the graceful star mainlands in Nether Realm. Excuse me, do the souls of the Grand Essence in Nether Realm enter after the people of the Grand Essence Realm die? Ning Cheng saw Ba Meng looking at him and quickly asked. Ba Meng shook his head and said, no, all the interfaces under the Grand Essence Realm, no matter high or low, as long as someone dies, their soul will enter the Grand Essence in Nether Realm and enter the reincarnation cycle. Then, what are the low-level interfaces under the Grand Essence Realm? Ning Cheng asked even more nervously. Ba Meng looked at Ning Cheng in doubt for a while before explaining, these interfaces are as numerous as the hairs on an ox. Who knows how many there are? When the Grand Essence Realm's laws were perfected, cultivators from the low-level interfaces had to ascend if they wanted to enter the Grand Essence Realm. But now that the Grand Essence Realm's laws have shattered, it's not much better than those low-level starry skies. Many people can use talismans or even teleportation arrays to come and go. Ning Cheng suddenly felt a little excited. He increasingly felt that the 4 grand starry skies belonged to the low-level interfaces of the Grand Essence Realm, while the graceful star mainland belonged to the low-level interfaces under the 4 grand starry skies. From this, Ning Cheng understood that after Sun Hanrui died, her soul would also enter the Grand Essence in Nether Realm. In addition to Sun Hanrui, there was also, Yu Qing's delicate and pretty face suddenly appeared in Ning Cheng's mind. Maybe he could find Yu Qing's soul again. I have a friend, but she died decades ago. If I go with you, can I find her soul? Ning Cheng held back the excitement in his heart and spoke with a trembling voice. Ba Meng sighed and said, although I have to use your lightning arcs to get there, I have to tell you that you can't find her. Why? Ning Cheng blurted out. Ba Meng continued, even though the Grand Essence in Nether Realm's laws have shattered, there are still powerhouses guarding it. We can only stay at the outermost periphery and can't go inside. Your friend died decades ago, and I'm afraid that she has already entered the cycle of reincarnation. Ning Cheng's expression suddenly turned dejected. After a moment of silence, he asked, then, can you find her soul if her corporeal body is intact but her soul is gone? Ba Meng nodded to Ning Cheng in a dignified manner, this is what I'm asking you for. I only have one son, but he was killed by an enemy. Fortunately, I managed to snatch his corporeal body. Now, I have kept his corporeal body for many years. This time, I finally managed to find a 9 nether boundary breaking talisman to enter the Grand Essence in Nether Realm. Therefore, I want to ask you for a favor. I agreed because I still have a friend. After she died, only her corporeal body remained. Her soul could not be restored. Therefore, I want to go with you. I also want to find my friend's soul. Not waiting for Ba Meng to continue persuading, Ning Cheng spoke with certainty. Sun Hanrui had taken the 6-yin soul pill. Therefore, even if she only had a trace of her soul left in the grand essence in nether realm, she would still be safe and sound. Good, then let's go to my place first. We can discuss how to do this. Ba Meng on hearing Ning Cheng's words felt overjoyed. After that, he turned to Ning Cheng and said, I still don't know your name. Ning Cheng did not hesitate this time and spoke the truth, my name is Ning Cheng. After this matter is over, I'm afraid that Brother Ba Meng will do me a small favor. After Ning Cheng finished, he kept an eye on Ba Meng's expression. When he found that Ba Meng's face didn't show any surprised expression, he realized that Ba Meng had stayed in the Grand Essence Sea and didn't know about the big things happening in the Grand Essence realm. The reason why he knew that Cheng Ho Tian was poisoned was because there were too many people who came to the Grand Essence Sea to look for medicinal herbs. Ba Meng laughed, as long as we can cooperate successfully and save my son. No matter what it is, I will help. Ning Cheng didn't reveal that he was a pill sage, nor did he tell Ba Meng what kind of help he could offer. Although Ba Meng looked like a straightforward person, Ning Cheng didn't know much about him. He could only come to a conclusion after the two sides completed their cooperation. At this time, Yan Ji had already finished surmounting her tribulation. She put away all the spirit crystals and landed directly beside Ning Cheng. She then stared at Ba Meng with some caution. Junior apprentice Sister Ji, this is Dao friend Ba Meng. I want to cooperate with him to do something. You can go to the true spirit world to stabilize your cultivation first. Ning Cheng didn't explain about the dark nether realm. Okay. Yan Ji didn't ask anything and directly entered Ning Cheng's true spirit world. She had just advanced to the eternal realm and needed to consolidate her cultivation. If Ba Meng hadn't brought Ning Cheng here, Ning Cheng feared that he wouldn't have found this place in the Grand Essence Sea even if he searched for 10,000 years. Ba Meng lived in the depths of the Grand Essence Sea, and it was a place with very little spiritual qi. Apart from some sea demons, no one would come to this place. Cultivators with low cultivation wouldn't dare to come here. How could holy emperors with high cultivation care about such a place with little spiritual qi? Following Ba Meng into a natural concealment array formation, Ning Cheng secretly sighed after passing through two natural concealment array formations and a man-made defensive array formation. Even an array Dao powerhouse surpassing a high-level spirit array master couldn't arrange such a natural array formation. Even if he came to this place 100 times, he would only pass by it. Thinking about the concealment teleportation array he had secluded himself in, as well as the natural concealment array formations here, Ning Cheng could only sigh. There were just too many mysterious things in the Grand Essence Sea. Dao friend Ba Meng, this is a good place. Unfortunately, the spiritual qi here is a bit too thin. Before Ning Cheng could finish his words, he opened his mouth wide and looked around in disbelief. Because by the time he finished speaking, he had already stepped into the defensive array. At the same time, he felt an indescribably rich spiritual qi. If it were just rich, Ning Cheng wouldn't have cared about it. Ning Cheng was also a person who had seen the world. But what shocked him even more was that this rich spiritual qi contained complete laws of heaven and earth. In other words, even if one didn't cultivate, one's cultivation would continue to improve while sitting in this place. Good place. Ning Cheng exclaimed. He now understood why Ba Meng dared to say that he could advance to the late stage of speed in a short time. Ba Meng showed a smile, I found this place by chance. Come with me to another place first. Ning Cheng followed behind Ba Meng and felt the spiritual qi around him getting denser and denser, while the laws around him also became clearer. Ning Cheng thought to himself, it seems that if he had a chance, others would also have a chance. After half an incense stick worth of time, Ba Meng made a few hand seals and brought Ning Cheng to a huge pool surrounded by white mist. As soon as Ning Cheng saw this pool, he realized that all the spiritual qi outside came from this place. Instead of spiritual qi, this place was filled with dense spiritual laws and spiritual mist, which contained a powerful law aura. Ba Meng pointed to the mist-covered pool and said, "This place is the Grand Essence Dragon Washing Pool, the first of the 5 pools in the Grand Essence Sea. The Sunken Fish Palace's Sunken Fish Ice Pool is nothing compared to this Dragon Washing Pool. When the Grand Essence Sea's laws were complete, the 5-clawed Divine Dragon clan lived here. I heard that once a 5-clawed Divine Dragon was born, it would wash in this Dragon Washing Pool for 100 years. The 5-clawed Divine Dragons that came out of the Dragon Washing Pool were even more powerful. Therefore, the 5-clawed Divine Dragon clan has always been powerful. Unfortunately, no matter how powerful they are, they can't stop the passage of time." Chapter 10-12. What a great place! Ning Cheng looked at the dragon cleansing pool in amazement and couldn't wait to cultivate here for a few months. If he cultivated here, it wouldn't be impossible for him to reach the late-stage Dao sculpting realm in a short time. Moreover, not only would it not damage his foundation, but it would also bring great benefits to his foundation and potential. "Brother Ba Meng, you brought me here, don't tell me." Ning Cheng pointed at the Grand Essence Dragon cleansing pool in confusion and couldn't believe it. If Ba Meng didn't want him to come here to cultivate, why did he bring him here? If this place belonged to him, he wouldn't lend it to others for cultivation. Ba Meng's expression turned solemn, and he looked at Ning Cheng with a serious expression. "Dao friend Ning, there are very few thunder-attributed cultivators in the Grand Essence realm, and even fewer can reach the Dao-confirming realm. There are several powerful thunder-attributed holy emperors who come from big sections. They aren't people a rogue cultivator like me can invite. I'm really lucky to have met you. I only have one son. Since I want you to help me sincerely, I will help you sincerely. I believe that my eyes aren't blind, and I won't misjudge you." After that, he sighed, pointed to the Grand Essence Dragon cleansing pool and said, "I've guarded this place for thousands of years. During these thousands of years, my cultivation has risen sharply, and I'm now a half-step Dao Essence cultivator. Unfortunately, the Dragon cleansing pool has limited use for me now. After I save my son, Ba Luo, I will stay here for a few decades. After a few decades, I will leave with Ba Luo. If you're interested, I can leave this Grand Essence Dragon cleansing pool to you." Ning Cheng understood that Ba Meng didn't have any fear of him coming here. Not to mention that his cultivation was only at the Dao sculpting realm, Ba Meng's strength far surpassed his. Of course, Ba Meng must have thought that Ba Meng was far stronger than him. Most people wouldn't be willing to tell others about this place just because Ba Meng would leave. There was one more thing. Just like what Ba Meng had said, he needed him to help him sincerely. "Many thanks, Dao friend Ba Meng. Even without the Grand Essence Dragon cleansing pool, I would still help you. I will now cultivate here. Dao friend Ba Meng, you can go and prepare. Just let me know when you want to leave." After Ning Cheng heard the whole story, he straightforwardly agreed to Ba Meng's request. Although he knew that Ning Cheng would agree to it, but after Ning Cheng gave an affirmative answer, Ba Meng still spoke up in a happy voice, "In that case, Dao friend Ning, you can stay here and cultivate. I still have to find 2 friends. This time, a total of 4 of us will enter the Grand Essence in Netherworld. Your junior apprentice sister's cultivation is slightly lower. If your miniature world's laws are ordinary, you can let your junior apprentice sister stay in my mansion. Dao friend Ba Meng, you can go ahead and look for the others. I will stay here and cultivate. My junior apprentice sister will go with me." Ning Cheng directly refused. No matter how good this place was, he was not here, so how could he dare to leave Yan Ji here? Ba Meng also wanted to remind Ning Cheng about it, but since Ning Cheng refused, he naturally would not continue to talk about this matter. After Ba Meng left, Ning Cheng jumped into the dragon washing pool and started cultivating. If he missed such a good opportunity, then he deserved to not be able to improve his cultivation. Ning Cheng's mysterious yellow origin had extremely high requirements for resources from the outside world. Moreover, the spirit qi in the dragon washing pool not only contained no impurities, but it also contained rich laws of heaven and earth. With the help of the mysterious yellow origin, Ning Cheng felt a carefree feeling that he had never felt before. When he first cultivated in the extraterritorial spirit spring, he had thought that it was the best place for cultivation. But now, the extraterritorial spirit spring couldn't even compare to the dragon washing pool. As Ning Cheng absorbed the endless pure laws of spirit qi, more and more spirit qi started to pour into his body. If Ba Meng were here, his jaw would definitely drop. His cultivation caused a lot of commotion, but Ning Cheng's cultivation was dozens of times louder than his. Sitting in the dragon washing pool, Ning Cheng felt his entire corporeal body gradually fade away, leaving only his essence spirit. Without any hindrance from the corporeal body, the absorption effect of his cultivation soared even higher. The pure aura in the dragon washing pool continuously washed over Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng's body, which originally had no impurities, became even more spotless. His cultivation aura continued to rise and rise, spirit essence flowed around Ning Cheng like a raging river. At the same time, Ning Cheng also swallowed the Empyrean consciousness transmutation pills. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness and spirit essence continued to grow. As time passed, Ning Cheng couldn't even feel his corporeal body, let alone the passage of time. For most people, it would take hundreds of years to advance from the middle stage Tao sculpting to the late stage Tao sculpting, no matter how many cultivation resources one had. No matter how good one's aptitude or how many resources one had, it would still take dozens or even hundreds of years. Yet, in just a few months, he had already stepped into the late stage Tao sculpting realm. From this, it could be seen how powerful the combination of the mysterious yellow origin aura and the dragon washing pool was under the effect of the mysterious yellow formless. After entering the late-stage Tao sculpting realm, Ning Cheng's cultivation speed finally slowed down due to the obstruction of his understanding of the Tao of returning to one. Ning Cheng knew that in addition to the obstruction of his understanding of the Tao, the special effect of the combination of the mysterious yellow origin and the dragon washing pool had also passed, causing it to enter a stable period. Even if it was a stable period, the progress of one's cultivation was much faster than using spirit crystals to cultivate. Constant ka sounds came from within his body, and Ning Cheng almost moaned out loud. This kind of cultivation really made him happy. Not knowing how much time had passed, Ning Cheng suddenly noticed that the bones in his body had begun to reorganize again, radiating with a new aura of laws. The mysterious yellow body forging method also began to run automatically and began to correct itself. Ning Cheng almost stood up from the dragon washing pool in shock. After his body forging cultivation method reached the full circle of the starry sky body, it had completely stopped because there was no further cultivation method. Did it want to correct his body forging cultivation method? At this moment, Ning Cheng couldn't care about the continuous improvement of his cultivation. Instead, he focused all his attention on the correction of the body forging cultivation method. Ning Cheng finally understood the origin and purpose of the dragon cleansing pool. The true meaning of the dragon washing pool was not for cultivation but for tempering one's body. No wonder the legendary five-clawed divine dragons were so powerful that their corporeal bodies could even tear through the void. It turned out that the dragon washing pool played a huge part in it. As Ning Cheng's body forging cultivation method continued to improve, Ning Cheng's body forging cultivation method progressed from full circle starry sky body to late stage starry sky body, and then to middle stage starry sky body. Ning Cheng's senses were not wrong. Although his body forging strength was declining, his physical strength was growing stronger and stronger. This meant that his previous body forging cultivation method was simply garbage. The reason why it was garbage was that it matched his corporeal body's skeleton, not because the mysterious yellow formless was garbage. Now that he had cleansed his body, bones, and even his meridians in the dragon cleansing pool, his body had become even stronger. Only a new body tempering cultivation technique was suitable for him. Because of this, as he continued to temper his body in the dragon cleansing pool, his body tempering level was declining instead. Gotcha. Just like a mold solidifying, all the bones in Ning Cheng's body made a final gotcha sound before finally stabilizing. At the same time, Ning Cheng's body forging rank dropped to the early stage starry sky body. At this time, Ning Cheng circulated the new body forging cultivation method without any scruples. His corporeal body grew stronger once again. Middle stage starry sky body, late stage, although he couldn't return to the full circle of his starry sky body, Ning Cheng felt satisfied. As long as he continued to find a place to temper his body, his corporeal body would surpass the starry sky body. Originally, Ning Cheng had no idea about the body forging ranks after the starry sky body. But now, he knew that beyond the starry sky body was the spirit body. This really was a good place, but unfortunately, Yan Ji's current strength was still too low, and was unable to cultivate in this place. In the future, he must bring Yan Ji here for cultivation. It would be best if he could bring Ruolin and Luofei here for cultivation. Just as Ning Cheng thought of this with a refreshed mind, he received a message from Ba Meng. Ba Meng asked him to meet up on an island 1,000,000 miles away. The dragon cleansing pool was Ba Meng's secret. Since he planned to give the dragon cleansing pool to Ning Cheng, he naturally couldn't bring anyone else in. Despite his reluctance, Ning Cheng still flew out of the dragon cleansing pool. After tidying up a bit, he left the dragon cleansing pool. For Ning Cheng, a distance of 1,000,000 miles didn't take much time. Ning Cheng hadn't even reached the island Ba Meng mentioned when his spiritual consciousness swept over and found Ba Meng talking to a man and a woman on the reef island. When Ba Meng saw Ning Cheng land on the island, he felt secretly shocked. He had only gone out for half a year, yet Ning Cheng's strength had advanced from middle stage Dao sculpting to late stage Dao sculpting. From this, he understood that Ning Cheng's cultivation qualifications far surpassed his. Dao friend Ning, these two are Grand Essence C's Green Lady Ji Mai Tao and Dao friend Xiao Yuani. Ba Meng introduced the man and woman to Ning Cheng with a smile. After the introductions, he turned to the two and said, "He's the Ning Cheng I mentioned to you. He cultivates a thunder-attributed cultivation." Ning Cheng had told Ba Meng that he didn't specialize in thunder-attributed cultivation. But since Ba Meng introduced him like this, Ning Cheng didn't explain. Xiao Yuani had black hair and a late-stage Dao transformation cultivation. He looked elegant and refined, but his eyes looked a bit erratic. Green Lady Ji Mai Tao had a petite figure, but her curves were proud and provocative. She exuded a seductive aura from head to toe. Seeing Ning Cheng's gaze sweep over, she deliberately made a seductive look at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng sighed. He finally understood the difference between a chicken and a phoenix. Lu Fenglin's charm was completely natural. She didn't need to act pretentious to attract people. But this green lady, in addition to acting pretentious, was just pretentious. Ba Meng's friends all had their own characteristics. Green lady, your eyes usually grow on your forehead. Why are you so eager for a Dao sculpting cultivator today? Xiao Yuani chuckled and looked at Green Lady. Green Lady gave him a blank look but still looked at Ning Cheng and said, "I feel that this Dao friend Ning is very pleasing to the eye. I want to get in touch with him. What's wrong? Can't I?" After that, she took the initiative to say to Ning Cheng, "There aren't many thunder-attributed experts now. In the Dark Nether realm, thunder-attributed attacks are the most important. We have to rely on you." When Green Lady saw him, her eyes flashed with a hint of eagerness. Ning Cheng guessed that this Green Lady might have recognized him as Dao Essence Pill Sage Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng didn't care about it. After all, Green Lady was just a full-stage Dao transformation cultivator. If she wanted his help in alchemy, he could help her as long as the conditions were right. But if she wanted to hit on him, then she could only blame herself for being stupid. Ba Meng laughed. Since everyone is here, let's discuss it and get ready to set off. Chapter 10:13. Seeing Green Lady start to tease him again, Ning Qing couldn't help but feel annoyed. He spoke up helplessly, "Green Lady, if you want to ask me for help, then let's set the price clearly, just like the Void Star sect. But if it's something else, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested." The surroundings were filled with gray gravel, without even the slightest bit of vitality or spirit chi. Apart from some spiritless souls drifting about in the surroundings, there wasn't even a soul that could move on its own. There was no water, no sky, and no living creatures. The whole world only had a monotonous gray, with some occasional grayish-white or grayish-black. Ba Meng didn't answer, but Xiao Yuanyi and Green Lady cupped their fists and said, "Red-haired, we'll leave first. We'll meet here again in a month." The long passage seemed to have no end. Apart from the countless Yin souls around, there was also the endless Yin astral law power. Fortunately, this power had little effect on the few of them. After that, Ba Meng carefully moved forward again and said, "There are thousands of such soul bridges in the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld, but there is only one. Our cultivation is limited, so we can only stay outside the soul bridge. Don't cross the bridge. Once you cross the bridge, you will most likely die here." Here, his spiritual consciousness could move unimpeded. Unfortunately, no matter how far his spiritual consciousness swept, the scene he saw was the same. Ba Meng didn't continue and just shook his head. Obviously, Ba Meng thought that these two people couldn't find the 6 Yin fruit here. Apart from entering the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld with the 9 Nether boundary breaking talisman, he also had to help Ba Meng clear the Yin Qi in Ba Luo's soul. Among the 4, Ba Meng was the initiator and had a top-grade 9 Nether boundary breaking talisman. Only he could open the passage to the dark Netherworld and enter. His main purpose was naturally to save his son, Ba Luo. If the soul stayed in the broken dark Netherworld for a long time, it would be covered with a layer of Yin Nether Qi. If this kind of bad luck was not cleared in time, even if Ba Luo woke up, he would be muddle-headed. In the best-case scenario, his cultivation aptitude would decline. The reason Ba Meng had found Xiao Yuanyi and Lady Green was that the 9 Nether plane breaking talisman and thunderstreaks were not enough to enter the Netherworld realm. Several Dao transformation realm experts were also needed. Ning Cheng was only a Dao molding divine emperor. If Ning Cheng was a Dao actualization divine emperor, then Ba Meng would just have to find another person. Ba Meng spoke up in a deep voice, "This place can only be said to be the outermost periphery of the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld. We have yet to enter the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld. With our cultivation, even if the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld's laws shatter, we wouldn't be able to enter. As soon as you enter, you'll be suppressed. In the worst case, you'll be teleported away. In the worst case, you'll be crushed into a soul. Come on, let's go summon the soul. We can't enter the real Dark Nether realm with our cultivation, but we can summon souls at the edge of the Dark Nether realm. As long as my son's soul is still there, he will be able to feel his own body." After Ba Meng finished speaking, he took a step forward. "Let's do it." Ba Meng roared. His hands had already gathered endless spirit essence power and tore at the crack. Half a day later, Ba Meng stopped and said, "I'm going to use the 9 Nether plane breaking talisman now. Once I use the 9 Nether plane breaking talisman, countless Yin souls will rush over. These Yin souls are very weak, but I'm afraid that there are too many of them. Once there are too many, the 9 Nether plane breaking talisman would fail." Ba Meng shook his head, "I'm afraid that very few people know where the entrance to the Grand Essence Yin Netherworld is, except for some primordial chaos experts. This place has the densest Yin Qi, so it should be the easiest place to activate the 9 Nether plane breaking talisman. Moreover, no one will come here, so no one will disturb us." Ning Qing followed behind Ba Meng. The two of them walked for a few days before they stopped in front of a stone arch bridge that was faintly discernible. Boom! The aura of the laws finally erupted, tearing a pitch-black crack in the void. A long passage finally appeared under the joint efforts of the few people. Ba Meng was the first to rush in, and Ning Cheng also rushed in. At the same time, he asked, "Dao friend Ba, how do we come out after we finish?" As soon as Ning Cheng arrived, he felt the dense yin qi. This barren land was filled with white bones, and in the depths of the barren land, there were some low-level yin souls howling. Then how do we find the souls? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. At the same time, Chiu Yuani and Green Lady also made their moves. After Ba Meng explained to Ning Cheng, he raised his hand and waved out an ice jade stone bed. A young and robust man lay on the stone bed. Just like Ba Meng, he also had red hair. "Red hair, let's do it." Chiu Yuani, on seeing Ning Cheng not even know about this, felt some contempt in his heart. Even ordinary cultivators knew about this truth. Ning Cheng was also a late-stage Dao sculpting holy emperor. Ba Meng shook his head and said, "This is not the bridge of coping, but the bridge that connects souls to the Yin netherworld. It's called the Soul Crossing Bridge. The first bridge of coping you mentioned is the first bridge of the 7 bridges spirit technique. It has nothing to do with this. After a person dies, as long as the soul can come to the Yin netherworld, it will involuntarily approach this bridge. Only the soul that passes through this bridge will have a chance to enter the reincarnation passage. The souls we saw before were all souls that had no chance of reincarnation." Boom boom boom. Under the lightning arcs, the Yin souls that swarmed towards the 9 nether boundary-splitting talisman quickly turned into flying ashes. More Yin souls felt the aura of the thunder source and fled in horror. "Okay." Ba Meng raised his hand and waved out piles of spirit crystals to arrange a spiritual gathering array around them. No one raised any objections. Ba Meng then took out a palm-sized black talisman. As soon as he took out the talisman, Ning Cheng immediately sensed a powerful law force coming from it. Ning Cheng secretly marveled in his heart. He had no idea what kind of person could refine such a talisman. Green Lady, who followed behind, smiled and sent a sound transmission to Ning Cheng. "Pill Sage Ning is so good at alchemy, but you know so little about talismans. When you have time, come to my immortal cave. I will teach you slowly." Ning Cheng secretly thought that in the face of such Yin souls, if he didn't use lightning arcs and used the 7 bridges spirit technique, it would definitely be more effective. Chiu Yuani and Green Lady also helped from the side. Ning Cheng could see that these people's attainments in the Tao of array formations were quite average. They weren't even the worst low-level spirit array masters. Ning Cheng knew about the 6 Yin soul fruit. He had refined a batch of 6 Yin soul pills for Silver Dragon Clan's Gong Huayu and used the 6 Yin soul pills. Moreover, he still had 2 6 Yin soul pills on him. Because Ba Meng intended to give him the dragon cleansing pond, he was also prepared to give a 6 Yin soul pill to Ba Meng if Ba Luo couldn't find his soul. This woman really knew about him. Ning Cheng didn't answer Green Lady's words. "Okay." Ba Meng cupped his fists and sent the 2 away. Then he said to Ning Cheng, "They came here to look for the 6 Yin fruit. This Tao fruit is very important for reaching the Tao essence realm. But with their cultivation, if they want to find the 6 Yin fruit here. This is my son, Ba Luo. His corporeal body is here. As long as his soul still exists, it will take the initiative to come here. At that time, I will need your help. As long as his soul comes here, remember to use lightning arcs to wash away the Yin nether chi covering his soul." Ba Meng looked at Ning Cheng sincerely. He had never seen a powerful talisman crafting expert. The only talisman crafting expert he had heard of was Fu Lai, who Tsang Wei spoke of. Chiu Yuani and Green Lady most likely wanted to go to the dark nether realm to find something. As for what they were looking for, the 2 didn't say it. Ning Cheng also didn't know. Ning Cheng knew that it was time for him to make his move. He didn't hesitate to bring out lightning arcs. Ning Qing didn't specialize in lightning arcs, so his lightning arcs weren't strong. But even if they weren't strong, Ning Qing was still a Tao-molding divine emperor. Therefore, these lightning arcs still contained some of the laws of heaven and earth. This is the dark nether realm. Ning Qing spoke and swept out with his spiritual sense. Even if the laws of the dark nether realm were broken, it wasn't easy to enter the dark nether realm. Breaking the dark nether realm required not only the 9 nether boundary breaking talisman but also the power of the laws of heaven and earth. Ning Qing was a Tao-molding divine emperor, so his lightning arcs naturally contained the power of laws. The 9 nether boundary breaking talisman activated in Ba Meng's hand and turned into a pitch-black power of laws of heaven and earth that blasted into the void. This power of laws didn't spread out. Instead, it became more and more condensed after blasting out. The further it went, the more terrifying the aura of laws became. He didn't plan to help. It was just an ordinary spirit gathering array. This spirit gathering array was just to help the 9 nether boundary breaking talisman activate better. He didn't need to do anything. Okay, I was waiting for you to say that. Green Lady chuckled, after we get out, I will definitely give you a satisfactory reward. Is this the entrance to the Grand Essence Dark Nether Realm? Ning Qing asked in doubt. Ba Meng said helplessly, the 9 nether boundary breaking talisman comes in pairs, one in and one out. Otherwise, who would dare to buy this? Bang! The sound of Ba Meng's feet landing on the ground rang out. Ning Qing and the others also landed on the ground. First bridge of coping. Ning Qing cried out. This stone arch bridge had a pale color. If it wasn't the bridge of coping, then what was it? Although he hadn't set foot on the soul bridge yet, Ning Qing could already feel the powerful push from the laws. While resisting the push from the laws, he could also feel the netherworld laws. After hearing Ba Meng's words, Ning Qing quickly spoke up, of course, there's no problem. Dao friend Ba Meng, you can rest assured. Ba Meng led the way, while Green Lady continued to tease Ning Qing along the way. However, Ning Qing didn't show any other expression other than, Green Lady, on seeing that Ning Qing didn't seem to have much interest in her, tactfully closed her mouth. Seeing Ning Qing not speaking, Green Lady deliberately sped up and arrived at Ning Qing's side. Once again, she sent out a sound transmission, although that Lu Fanglin has a charm body, I cultivate a charm technique. If we talk about that alone, I'm not any worse than her. If you don't believe me, you can try it. Dao friend Ning, when you see these Yin souls rushing towards the 9 nether boundary breaking talisman, immediately bring out the lightning arcs to help. Qiu Yuani and Green Lady will work together with me. With the help of the 9 nether boundary breaking talisman, let's tear it open. Innumerable soul shadows rushed out from the pitch-black crack, rushing towards the 9 nether world-shattering talisman without exception. Chapter 10:14. A corporeal body without Yin souls appeared at the head of the soul-crossing bridge, causing endless Yin souls to swarm towards it. These souls acted completely on instinct, they could feel that this body wanted to occupy it. However, these Yin souls were all killed by Ba Meng without exception. Seeing Ning Qing not moving, Ba Meng spoke up, you can do the same as me, as long as your friend's spiritual soul is still in the dark nether realm, there is a 50% chance of saving her. Ning Qing nodded, and raised his hand to send out Sun Hanrui, who seemed to be in a deep sleep. Did she take the 6 Yin soul pill? Ba Meng, on seeing Sun Hanrui, stared at Ning Qing in disbelief. Ning Qing nodded, yes, I gave her a 6 Yin soul pill, but she did not wake up. Then you should quickly take it back, the 6 Yin soul pill is like reincarnation, as long as her corporeal body is still there, after taking the 6 Yin soul pill, she might be able to wake up completely, even without any damage to her memory or cultivation. If her soul is still recovering, it would not be good for you to put her here to summon her soul. If you are worried that she will wake up slowly, you can put her in the place where she fell to recover. Ba Meng was shocked that Ning Cheng could obtain the 6 soul pill, but he still explained it in detail. Why not? Ning Cheng did not understand. Ba Meng was just about to answer, when suddenly the souls on the soul crossing bridge started to riot. The souls that were swarming over seemed to have been hit by firecrackers, as they fled in all directions, and even issued a burst of ear-piercing screeches. My son Ba Luo is inside. Ba Meng screamed, as he put away Ba Luo's corporeal body and rushed towards the soul-crossing bridge. He had already forgotten about the matter of not going to the soul-crossing bridge with Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng quickly put away Sun Hanrui. He also saw a soul that was vaguely similar to Ba Luo, but this soul was attacked by many souls, and finally almost collapsed. Ning Cheng had just reacted, when Ba Meng was engulfed by the endless souls on the soul-crossing bridge. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could barely see Ba Meng's shadow among the endless souls. Ba Meng was in danger. Ning Cheng had just thought until here, when he saw a huge black mouth rolling over. The souls on the bridge suddenly decreased by half, but in just a moment, these souls were filled with even more souls. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He did not know what this giant mouth was, but he immediately thought of the burial shadow demon. If Ba Meng was swallowed by this huge mouth, he would definitely die. In any case, he was indebted to Ba Meng. If it weren't for Ba Meng, his cultivation would never have been able to advance to the late-stage Dao modeling in such a short time. Besides, they were still in a team. Seeing that Ba Meng was in danger, Ning Cheng did not hesitate to rush over to the soul-crossing bridge. He knew very well why Ba Meng was unable to resist. Ba Meng himself had said that once he crossed the soul bridge, his cultivation would be greatly suppressed. Ba Meng was already very lucky that he was not crushed into pieces or teleported away. First Bridge of Coping. Landing on the soul-crossing bridge, Ning Cheng brought out the first bridge of coping just as the overwhelming law pressure came crashing down. This time, he didn't even bring out the 7 Bridges Realm book. Who knew what would happen in this place? If something happened and he lost the 7 Bridges Realm book, it would truly be depressing. As soon as he brought out the first bridge of coping, the endless souls seemed to have found an organization and frantically rushed towards the first bridge of coping. Violent nether winds also swept towards the first bridge of coping, mixing with the first bridge of coping's original nether wind and blood river. After the first bridge of coping swallowed the endless nether winds and souls, it didn't weaken. Instead, it strengthened. Ning Cheng suddenly felt an impulse in his heart. How long would it take him to condense the 7 Bridges spirit technique in the Nether Dark Realm? This place seemed much better than the burial shadow blue sand. Once he successfully condensed the 7 Bridges spirit technique, he might not even need to bring out the 5-colored star splitter arrow to kill someone like Ding Si. Crack. Before Ning Cheng could finish his fantasies, the majestic law aura slammed into Ning Cheng's body. Even if Ning Cheng was a body-forging cultivator, he could feel his bones starting to break. At this moment, Ning Cheng couldn't care about anything else. He grabbed Ba Meng, who was struggling at the bridge's head, and retreated frantically. As soon as they left the soul bridge, the powerful law suppression instantly weakened. Ba Meng's strength recovered, and he fell to the ground and stared at Ning Cheng blankly. You have a Dao sculpting cultivation, yet you managed to safely retreat from the soul-crossing bridge and even saved me? That spirit technique you just used, was it the first bridge of coping of the 7 bridges? Ning Cheng nodded. In his heart, he was thinking about the feasibility of perfecting the 7 bridges spirit technique on the soul-crossing bridge, and at the same time, how dangerous it would be. Ba Meng apparently didn't want to understand it further. After asking Ning Cheng a question, he looked at the soul-crossing bridge in a daze and muttered, "It's useless. With such a powerful soul cultivator here, Ba Luo's soul has already dissipated. Even if it condenses again, it wouldn't have any consciousness." Soul cultivator. Ning Cheng asked with a frown. Ba Meng didn't answer Ning Cheng's words. He remained silent for a few minutes before returning to his senses and speaking to Ning Cheng. Yes, a soul cultivator. When the Nether Dark Realm's laws were perfected, once these soul cultivators reached a certain level and didn't reincarnate, they would be squeezed into nothingness by the laws. But now that the Nether Dark Realm's laws have shattered, more and more powerful soul cultivators have appeared. The one we saw just now is one of them. They devour souls to grow, and the further they grow, the lower their consciousness becomes, but the more powerful they become. Looking at Ba Meng's dazed look, Ning Cheng took out a jade bottle and handed it to Ba Meng. Dao friend Ba Meng, I'm indebted to you for giving me the dragon cleansing pool. I'll give you this medicinal pill in return. Ba Meng subconsciously took the jade bottle. Only when he held the jade bottle in his hands did he react. He didn't even open the jade bottle before returning it to Ning Cheng. Dao friend Ning, many thanks. I don't have any use for this medicinal pill now. I, Ba Meng, have lived on the edge of the Grand Essence Sea for so many years. Although I lost my son, it doesn't mean that I'm going to suffer a blow. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. Dao friend Ba Meng, I know. I suggest you open the jade bottle and have a look. If it really doesn't have any use for you, you can return it to me. Ba Meng opened the jade bottle in doubt, and then exclaimed in shock, is this a 6-yin soul pill, or a top-quality one? How can you have this? By the way, your friend also took the 6-yin soul pill. Ba Meng clenched the jade bottle with both hands. His heart was already filled with ecstasy, and even his words became incoherent. Is this medicinal pill useful to you? Although Ba Meng didn't give him the dragon cleansing pool, Ning Cheng still felt grateful in his heart. After this matter, he felt confident that he could take another step forward through the dragon cleansing pool. Ba Meng bowed to Ning Cheng. Dao friend Ning, you just saved my life, and now you've saved my son's life. This great kindness, I, Ba Meng, really don't know how to repay it. Ning Cheng patted Ba Meng's shoulder. You gave me the dragon cleansing pool, which is much more valuable than a 6-yin soul pill. Ba Meng spoke up with some embarrassment. Dao friend Ning, you know, even if I didn't give you the dragon cleansing pool, I can't take it away. But I owe you a favor. Ning Cheng spoke with caution. Okay. Ba Meng carefully put away the 6-yin soul pill, took out a spiritual sense jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. Dao friend Ning, if you need this Ba Meng's help in the future, no matter where I am, I will not refuse. Also, after we go out this time, I will not return to the dragon cleansing pool. That place will belong to you from now on. Ning Cheng felt very satisfied. There was still more than a year before the 5 Realms pill competition. With the help of the dragon cleansing pool, maybe he could take another step forward in his cultivation. Dao friend Ning, let's leave this place. There are still some dangers before crossing the Soul Bridge, and our strength is still too low. Ba Meng had long since revived, and his mood had also turned cheerful. Ning Cheng smiled. Dao friend Ba Meng, you should leave first. Wait for me at the place where the boundary breaks. I can perfect my first bridge here. Once I finish perfecting it, I will immediately come back. Ba Meng, who had seen Ning Cheng's first bridge before, nodded. Then you have to be careful. You can stay at the front of the Soul Crossing Bridge, but don't go in. After watching Ba Meng leave, Ning Cheng once again carefully stepped onto the Soul Crossing Bridge. The first time was to save Ba Meng, and this time, he wanted to perfect the 7 Bridges spirit technique. As soon as he stepped onto the Soul Crossing Bridge, a horrifying power of laws rumbled over. Ning Cheng had long since prepared for it. The moment he brought out the first bridge of coping, he immediately started to operate the body forging cultivation method. The horrifying underworld laws crushed down, and under the operation of Ning Cheng's cultivation method, it instantly transformed into his physical strength. Ning Cheng was pleasantly surprised to find that using the crushing power of laws to temper his body was much more effective than using the volcano or thunder tribulation to temper his body. Sure enough, invisible forces had a much better effect than physical force. Ning Cheng simply regarded the straightforward body forging of the flame thunder tribulation as a physical body forging. Ning Cheng didn't have time to savor this joy when the endless Yin spirits rushed over. First bridge of coping, start. Ning Cheng didn't come here to temper his body. He came here to perfect the 7 bridges spirit technique. When these Yin spirits swarmed into the first bridge of coping, Ning Cheng brought out the second bridge of looking home, the third bridge of forgetting river, and the fourth bridge of yellow springs. The first 3 bridges had already started to solidify, and the fourth bridge of yellow springs also started to solidify rapidly after the endless Yin spirits and Yin chi poured into it. Not only that, but Ning Cheng also found that the underworld laws of heaven and earth had a similar solidifying effect on his 7 bridges. They both condensed the 7 bridges divine art. Because this place had the laws of the underworld, it was countless times better than the burial shadow blue sand. Under the Tao charm of the 4 bridges, Ning Cheng felt less and less pressure. This wouldn't do. In addition to perfecting the 7 bridges, he also came here to temper his body. Ning Cheng deliberately took a few more steps forward. A sharp edge silently pierced into Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness paused for a moment. The next moment, Ning Cheng realized that he had fallen into a trap. Boom! Kaka, Ning Cheng had just realized that he had fallen into a trap when the first bridge of coping shattered under an extremely cold and gloomy law force. At the same time, the law force pressing down on his body suddenly increased in strength. Kacha, kacha. Even if Ning Cheng tried to be careful, his bones still broke inch by inch, and an arrow of blood spurted out. Chapter 10-15. It was the soul cultivator. When his sea of consciousness suffered a sneak attack from the Yin soul thorn, Ning Cheng immediately understood the reason behind it. He was the soul cultivator Ba Meng had told him about. He hadn't seen him on the soul bridge before, and had assumed that he wouldn't show up on the other side of the soul bridge. He hadn't expected the soul cultivator to be so smart that he knew how to sneak up on him. Sure enough, the everlasting blue thunder fort in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness had just blocked the Yin soul's sting, when a shadow immediately rushed towards Ning Cheng. It did not use any magical techniques or spiritual techniques, just a simple movement towards Ning Cheng. It was just a simple movement, but it made Ning Cheng gasp for breath. It wasn't the coercion that was powerful, but the rule pressure brought by this shadow. Ning Cheng felt shocked in his heart. This soul cultivator's use of the dark nether realm's laws shocked him. If he could use the laws to suppress his opponent like this shadow, why would he need to master any sacred art? He could just use the laws to go over. The first bridge of coping had shattered, while the second bridge of homesickness had been bound. Fortunately, his third bridge of forgetfulness hadn't been suppressed yet. Third Forgotten River Bridge. Ning Cheng directly swept up the third Forgotten River Bridge. The bridge of the river of forgetfulness is a long journey. When you come, the river of forgetfulness will disappear. The grayish misty bridge swept up the dense Tao rime of the river of forgetfulness. The Tao rime rolled up and directly swept the soul cultivator who was pouncing over to the bridgehead. Before the bridge of forgetfulness could fully form, the soul cultivator was stuck on the bridge for only a moment, then began to struggle madly. The river of forgetfulness bridge, which had not fully solidified, began to shake. The misty fog of the river of forgetfulness gradually thinned. Ning Cheng took advantage of this moment, and drove out the Yin soul sting from his sea of consciousness. Before the soul cultivator could leave the bridge of forgetfulness, Yang Qi activated the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge. Ning Cheng only had a vague outline of the Yellow Springs Bridge. However, Ning Cheng believed that it would be difficult to kill this soul cultivator without using the Yellow Springs Bridge. One of the benefits of using the Yellow Springs Bridge in the Dark Nether Realm was that one could borrow the violent Yin Qi here and the laws of the Dark Nether Realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be able to summon the Yellow Springs Bridge. The Yellow Springs Bridge quickly absorbed the laws of the Dark Nether Realm, and the billowing Nether Wind Aura, under Ning Cheng's deliberate control, swept into the Yellow Springs Bridge. The Yellow Springs Bridge was set up in an instant, and a yellow, rolling river became clear. This yellow, rolling river slowly wrapped around the Yellow Springs Bridge. The green body of the Yellow Springs Bridge was slowly revealed at this moment. Streams of Yellow Springs Taoist rhymes circled around the bridge and the Yellow River. Even if Ning Cheng brought out the Yellow Springs Bridge, Ning Cheng couldn't control it now. This bridge's power of laws didn't come from his spirit technique laws, nor was it from the Seven Bridges Realm book. Instead, it drew support from the underworld realm's laws of heaven and earth. Boom! The Soul Cultivator broke free from Ning Cheng's incomplete Third Forgetting River Bridge. Before the Soul Cultivator could recover, the Fourth Yellow Springs Bridge covered him. In the boundless Yellow Springs, there is no good or evil, the soul turns to dust, the spirit is lost. The surging Yellow Springs Taoist rhymes and the Yellow River that wrapped around the Yellow Springs Bridge roared at this moment. The Soul Cultivator who charged into the Yellow Springs Bridge didn't even have the strength to resist before he was swept away by the terrifying Taoist rhymes and disappeared into the roaring Yellow River. Sitting on the ground, Ning Cheng stared blankly at the roaring Yellow Springs Bridge suspended in the sky, feeling a chill in his heart. Ning Cheng had seen with his own eyes how terrifying that Soul Cultivator was. Even his Third Forgetting River Bridge couldn't stop it. Ning Cheng didn't expect that the Soul Cultivator would die in the blink of an eye after rushing into the Yellow Springs Bridge. Was the Yellow Springs Bridge this powerful? If Ning Cheng truly felt that the Yellow Springs Bridge was this powerful, then it wouldn't have mattered. But Ning Cheng found that even he couldn't control the Yellow Springs Bridge now. After devouring a powerful Soul Cultivator, the Yellow Springs Bridge's green body became even clearer, and the Yellow River that wrapped around the Yellow Springs Bridge grew even more majestic. The Taoist rhyme aura and the power of laws swirled together like a roaring flood. No matter how many Yin souls there were, no matter how many Yin winds there were, all of them were swept away by the Yellow Springs Bridge. Ning Cheng felt a chill in his heart because he couldn't control his spirit technique. At this moment, the Yellow Springs Bridge wasn't condensed by his own strength. Instead, it was formed by the Underworld Realm's laws and the Underworld Realm's endless Yin souls and Yin Qi. Fortunately, most of the power of laws had been swept away by the Yellow Springs Bridge, which greatly reduced the pressure on Ning Cheng. He endured the pain and swallowed a healing pill. He couldn't let the Yellow Springs Bridge go out of control. The reason why he could bring out the Yellow Springs Bridge was because of the Seven Bridges Realm book. Once the Yellow Springs Bridge went out of control, the Seven Bridges Realm book might disappear. At that time, even his life might be in danger. Under the surging Tao charm of the Yellow Springs Bridge, Ning Cheng's cracked bones gradually recovered. Ning Cheng carefully put away the Futility Bridge, Looking Home Bridge, and Forgetting River Bridge. He then focused all his energy on the Yellow Springs Bridge. After devouring a large number of Yin souls and laws, the Yellow Springs Bridge grew stronger and more solid. Ning Cheng sat motionless and carefully integrated his spiritual sense into the Yellow Springs Bridge. He wanted to take control of the Yellow Springs Bridge again. The underworld laws finally overflowed from the Yellow Springs Bridge and fell on Ning Cheng. At first, the laws were weak, but they grew stronger and stronger. Ning Cheng not only wanted to integrate his spiritual sense into the Yellow Springs Bridge, but he also wanted to forcibly transform the strengthened laws into his own body-forging strength. Perhaps only Ning Cheng could use the laws of heaven and earth to suppress one's body forging. Ning Cheng's body grew stronger and stronger. But even so, Ning Cheng still couldn't resist the violent increase in the pressure of the laws of heaven and earth. Crack! When Ning Cheng advanced to the full circle of the starry sky body, his bones once again crushed into pieces. Although his body-forging body advanced, the damage to his body kept increasing. He couldn't let this continue. If this continued, he might end up being crushed into meat paste. Ning Qing no longer cared about the Yellow Springs Bridge. He suddenly opened his eyes. Even without the Yellow Springs Bridge, he couldn't go on like this. But when Ning Qing opened his eyes, he suddenly froze. He wasn't on the Soul Bridge at all. Instead, he was in a gray world. He sat on the Yellow Springs Bridge. The Yellow Springs Bridge was wrapped in a huge yellow river and slowly moved towards the depths of this gray world. Ning Cheng's face instantly turned pale. No wonder his body grew stronger and stronger, but the pressure he felt grew stronger. He had already left the Soul Bridge and entered the depths of the Nether Shadow Realm. If not for the Yellow Springs Bridge blocking his head, the terrifying laws would have already killed him. Retreat, hurry up and retreat. Ning Qing frantically ordered the Yellow Springs Bridge to retreat. However, the Yellow Springs Bridge continued to slowly enter the depths of the Nether Shadow Realm. Ning Cheng's face turned blue. His spiritual consciousness swept out and grabbed the Seven Bridges Realm book suspended in the air. Then, he pressed his hand on the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge and pressed his spiritual consciousness over. The uncontrollable Yellow Springs Bridge finally stopped under his control. At least, it didn't continue to move deeper. Ning Qing breathed a sigh of relief. The dark Nether Spirit Devourer immediately surrounded the Yellow Springs Bridge. At the same time, his entire consciousness fell on the Yellow Springs Bridge. The reason he couldn't control the Yellow Springs Bridge wasn't because of others, but because his strength was too low. He forcibly brought out the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge. As a result, the Yellow Springs Bridge went beyond his control with the help of the Nether Shadow Realm's law power. If Ning Qing didn't take control measures, the Yellow Springs Bridge he brought out would merge with the entire Nether Shadow Realm and disappear. As for Ning Qing, he would only turn into a puddle of flesh and eventually disappear. As time passed by in Ning Qing's crazy struggle for control, Ning Qing slowly ground away the law power pulling the Yellow Springs Bridge. At the same time, the Yellow Springs Bridge also slowly eased under Ning Qing's struggle. The tumbling Yellow River also gradually calmed down. Although the Cyan Bridge grew clearer and clearer, it also grew softer and softer, no longer as violent as before. Ning Qing sighed, and the Yellow Springs Bridge quietly floated over his head. The Yellow River wrapped around the Yellow Springs Bridge no longer roared and tumbled. Ning Qing once again blocked the Nether Shadow Realm's law power, and Ning Cheng's broken bones slowly reassembled. With his starry sky body reaching perfection, the Yellow Springs Bridge completely solidified. Ning Qing suddenly stood up, his heart filled with joy. Because he had brought out the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge without knowing its depth, the Nether Shadow Realm's law power almost killed him. Fortunately, he managed to regain the Yellow Springs Bridge with his powerful Sea of Consciousness and the Dark Nether Spirit Devourer. At the same time, his body forging once again reached perfection of the starry sky body. The Grand Essence Dragon Washing Pond truly lived up to its reputation. If he hadn't bathed in the Grand Essence Dragon Washing Pond for a while, Ning Qing wasn't sure if he could withstand the law pressure. Although the law pressure was still very strong, he could barely survive with the help of the Yellow Springs Bridge. Ning Qing stepped off the Yellow Springs Bridge and let the Yellow Springs Bridge float over his head before carefully retreating. He didn't dare to put away the Yellow Springs Bridge. With his current cultivation, if he put away the Yellow Springs Bridge, the powerful laws of the Grand Essence Nether Realm would immediately crush him into slag. As for condensing the fifth Reincarnation Bridge, Ning Qing gave up on it. He had almost lost control of the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge. If he condensed the fifth Reincarnation Bridge here, he feared that he would end up making a wedding dress for someone else. Making a wedding dress for someone else was a trivial matter. Moreover, his life would also remain in the Grand Essence Nether Realm. Ning Qing calculated the time. After he entered the Soul Bridge, half a month had already passed because of the Yellow Springs Bridge. Now that a month had passed, Ba Meng must have thought that he had fallen in the Nether Shadow Realm. From the looks of it, he would have to find another way to leave the Nether Shadow Realm. 16 Fruit. Ning Cheng had just taken a few steps back when he saw a fruit tree. On a small gray tree that was only 3 feet tall, there were 3 grayish-white fruits growing alone. Ning Cheng had refined the 16 soul pill before, so he naturally knew that these were the 16 fruits. The reason why Green Lady and Qiu Yuanyi came to the Nether Shadow Realm was to find this Dao fruit. The 16 fruit was a Dao Essence Dao fruit, so Ning Cheng naturally wouldn't be polite. He directly took out a jade box and put away the 3 16 fruits. Ha! Ning Cheng had just put away the 16 fruits when a man wearing a tall crown suddenly appeared not far from Ning Cheng. He looked at Ning Cheng in amazement before his eyes fell on the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge above Ning Cheng's head in disbelief. Ning Cheng's heart turned cold. He immediately took a few steps back and quietly stared at the man with the tall crown in front of him. He couldn't even protect himself here. If the other party attacked him, he would definitely die. Chapter 10:16. The crowned man's gaze moved from the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge to Ning Cheng, and Ning Cheng saw a hint of fear in his eyes. Afraid of him? Ning Cheng was very puzzled in his heart, but he immediately understood. This was the Dark Nether Realm, where there was a strong suppression of the rules. Those with lower strength would be like Ba Meng, being oppressed by the rules to the point of being unable to resist. But now, he looked very relaxed, at least on the surface. There was also the extremely eye-catching 4th Yellow Springs Bridge above his head, so the other party was afraid of him. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng became even calmer, and one could not see any panic in his eyes. At the same time, he began to carefully size up the man in front of him. He could not tell the man's age. He wore a green crown on his head and his face was a little pale. Ning Cheng quickly discovered something different. This man's crown exuded a burst of Dao charm aura. Ning Cheng understood that this fellow's high crown had a similar function to his Yellow Springs Bridge, which was to offset part of the law pressure of the Dark Nether Realm. No wonder he was so calm even though he was wearing a green hat. This guy's green hat was not ordinary. Is this the 4th of the 7 bridges, the Yellow Springs Bridge? The man with the crown finally spoke. Ning Cheng showed a slight smile and nodded without any care. Yes, it is indeed the Yellow Springs Bridge. I'm truly impressed that the Yellow Springs Bridge has solidified to this extent. My name is Chu Chen, how should I address this Dao friend? The man with the tall hat even cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng deliberately exposed a vigilant look in his eyes, and did not answer Chu Chen's words. Since this person was afraid of him, then he would just let him be afraid of him. Ning Cheng did not want to send someone to report his name. Speaking of which, he was quite famous. If this guy heard of his name, it would not be a good thing. He had the 7 Bridges Divine Art and everyone wanted the 7 Bridges Divine Art. Seeing the vigilance in Ning Cheng's eyes, Chu Chen did not care about it, and continued, is this Dao friend here to look for the 16 fruit? That's right, I am indeed here to look for the 16 fruit. Ning Cheng did not deny it, the other party had already seen that he had obtained the 3 16 fruits, as such there was no need to deny it. You have good strength. Are you interested in going to the depths of the Dark Nether Realm with me and joining hands to do something big? Chu Chen stared at Ning Cheng and spoke with a smile. Chu Chen's strength was definitely higher than his own. At a glance, Ning Cheng could tell that Chu Chen was coveting his 7 bridges. How could Ning Cheng team up with Chu Chen to enter the depths of the dark underworld? He flatly refused, I'm very sorry, I've already found what I wanted, and I want to leave. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the way out and ended up wandering around here for more than 10 years. You've been here for more than 10 years? Chu Chen was shocked. To be able to stay in the dark nether realm for more than 10 years was quite amazing. The law pressure here was too strong. The longer one stayed, the more dangerous it would be. Ning Cheng gave a deep nod. Looking at his gloomy face, no one would believe that Ning Cheng had been here for less than 2 months. Chu Chen frowned as his gaze swept over Ning Cheng's body a few times. Before he spoke, "You only have the 4th bridge." Ning Cheng's face sank, and the yellow river over the Yellow Springs Bridge started to churn once again. At the same time, bursts of Dao charm started to flash over the river. Since the other party was afraid of him, he had to put on an act. "Dao friend Chu seems to be very interested in my Yellow Springs Bridge." Ning Cheng's voice carried a hint of coldness. Sure enough, when he saw Ning Cheng's Yellow Springs Bridge's Dao charm churning, Chu Chen quickly took a few steps back and stared at Ning Cheng with vigilance. "Dao friend, please don't misunderstand. I'm saying that if you have the other bridges, you can enter the depths of the dark nether realm to condense the 7 bridges spirit technique. The best place to condense the 7 bridges spirit technique is the dark nether realm. Moreover, in the depths of the dark nether realm, there is the most powerful 7th reincarnation bridge. I heard that to condense the 7th reincarnation bridge, one must go to this place in the dark nether realm." Ning Cheng replied with a calm voice, "No need, I've already finished condensing it." Although he looked calm on the surface, Ning Cheng had already started to think about how to go to the dark nether realm to condense the 7th reincarnation bridge in the future. He didn't think that Chu Chen's words were false. Chu Chen had no reason to lie to him in this regard. It's just that he definitely wouldn't go there now. With his cultivation, once he entered the depths of the dark nether realm, he would only be courting death. More importantly, he had to leave Chu Chen as soon as possible. This person was too dangerous. When Chu Chen heard Ning Cheng say that he had already condensed the 7th reincarnation bridge, he felt even more fear in his heart. If it were any other place, he would have already taken action. But in this place, he couldn't casually test a person with the Yellow Springs Bridge. Even if he doubted Ning Cheng's words, he didn't dare to try. The laws of the dark nether realm were too powerful, and it would be very troublesome to escape from these laws. Once he was suppressed by the other party, he might not be able to escape from the other party's Yellow Springs Bridge. In fact, it's very simple to leave the dark nether realm. As long as you are in a place where the laws are weak, you can give up all resistance to the laws and then use your own Dao charm to resist it. The dark nether realm's laws of heaven and earth will directly teleport you away. Of course, the location of the teleportation is not very clear. Chu Chen seemed to want to ease the atmosphere between him and Ning Cheng, so he took the initiative to talk about a way to leave the dark nether realm. Ning Cheng looked at Chu Chen with some doubts. He wasn't sure if Chu Chen was trying to harm him or not. "Dao friend Chu, I heard from my friend that once the laws of the dark nether realm are suppressed and blasted away, it's very likely that one would be crushed to pieces with their spiritual soul destroyed. Why did Dao friend Chu say that this is the way to leave the dark nether realm?" Chu Chen laughed. "Your friend's cultivation shouldn't be too high, right? I'm sure your friend can't stand up in the dark nether realm at all. With his cultivation, using my method would naturally be courting death. You and I are both people who can come and go at will in the dark nether realm, so we can naturally use this rule. As long as we use nomological power to resist, we'll be swept away by the nomological power." He was even more suspicious of Ning Cheng. If Ning Cheng was truly powerful, then how could he have such a poor cultivation as a friend? Moreover, his own understanding of the dark nether realm was very shallow. "Many thanks, Dao friend Chu. Let's meet again if fate wills it," Ning Cheng said, before turning around to leave. He didn't know that this person's words had made Chu Chen even more suspicious of him. Seeing Ning Cheng leave, Chu Chen's complexion fluctuated for a while, as he became more and more hesitant in his heart. He not only feared that Ning Cheng could walk through this place as if nothing had happened, but he also feared the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge over Ning Cheng's head. The Seven Bridges divine art was even more powerful in the dark nether realm. He knew this very well. It was precisely because he knew that the Seven Bridges spirit technique was powerful and terrifying that he wanted to obtain the Seven Bridges spirit technique from Ning Cheng. If he could obtain the Seven Bridges spirit technique, then he could condense the Seven Bridges in the dark nether realm. When he came out in the future, Chu Chen, moreover, if this cultivator with the Yellow Springs Bridge wasn't very powerful, then wouldn't he have made a fortune? Thinking of this, Chu Chen's heart grew more and more eager. He suddenly took a step towards Ning Cheng, and at the same time, opened his hands, and two dazzling lightning arcs blasted towards Ning Cheng. The lightning arcs blasted out, bringing with it a ripple of laws that completely locked down Ning Cheng's surroundings. At the same time, Chu Chen flicked his wrist, and a talisman stuck to his wrist. Once Ning Cheng's strength truly surpassed his, he would immediately escape with the talisman. Although a talisman was very precious, it was not as precious as the Seven Bridges spirit technique. Although Ning Cheng wanted to retreat quickly, his mind was always on guard against the green hat Chu Chen. He felt sure that his strength and Chu Chen's were worlds apart. Chu Chen only feared him because he was frightened by the Yellow Springs Bridge over his head. The moment Chu Chen made his move, Ning Cheng knew that it was going to be bad, but he wasn't scared. His heart sank, this fellow really wanted his Seven Bridges spirit technique. What made Ning Cheng feel slightly relieved was that this fellow was a thunder-attributed cultivator. Although these two lightning arcs were powerful, they couldn't kill him. According to Chu Chen's thoughts, after he brought out the two tentative lightning arcs, Ning Cheng would definitely use the futility bridge over his head to block his lightning arcs and then counterattack. At this time, he would be able to see through Ning Cheng's strength. Once Ning Cheng's strength surpassed his, he would immediately escape. If Ning Cheng's strength wasn't much higher than his, he would have gone all out. What made Chu Chen miscalculate was that Ning Cheng didn't resist his lightning arcs at all. Instead, he immediately put away the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge and let the lightning arcs hit him. Catcha, catcha. The two lightning arcs struck Ning Cheng's body, causing bursts of bone-cracking sounds. If someone else saw this, they would have thought that Ning Cheng was struck by lightning arcs. But only Ning Cheng knew that the two lightning arcs had limited damage to him. He was suppressed by the powerful laws here. If not for these laws, he could have refined these lightning arcs. Is this fellow a paper tiger? Chu Chen instantly understood, and his face turned even paler. He then rushed towards Ning Cheng without hesitation. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. He shouldn't have probed. He should have directly grabbed Ning Cheng and searched his soul to refine it. After Ning Cheng took away the Yellow Springs Bridge, the powerful law pressure crushed Ning Cheng's bones. At the same time, Ning Cheng's body started to glow with the Tao charm of the laws of space. Just as Chu Chi said, the terrifying law power of the dark nether realm crushed Ning Cheng's bones. After meeting Ning Cheng's Tao charm of the laws, it directly sucked Ning Cheng into the void and instantly disappeared. I hate it. Chu Chen stared at the void where Ning Cheng disappeared and clenched his fists. How could he just hate it? If he had to say something, he would definitely say it to the void that sucked Ning Cheng away. I once had a peerless opportunity in front of me, but I didn't cherish it. If this opportunity came again, the opportunity wouldn't come again. What he hated was not only that he didn't cherish this opportunity, but also that he personally told Ning Cheng how to leave the dark nether realm. Although he knew that Ning Cheng would be crushed by the law power of the grand essence dark nether realm after entering the void, he still felt endless regret and disappointment in his heart. Bang! A shadow slammed into a void airship, causing the airship's restrictions to shake. What's that? The blue-robed girl standing at the bow of the airship asked in surprise. A middle-aged man next to her had already swept out with his spiritual consciousness and replied, "It's a cultivator. This cultivator is seriously injured and should have lost his autonomy." As a result, he ended up crashing into our airship. This person's body is really tough. Even after being hit by our airship's restrictions, he didn't turn into pieces. This fellow really deserved it. He scared me. The blue-robed girl patted her chest and made a frightened look. The yellow-robed girl sitting at the bow of the airship sighed and said, "Since we met, let's save his life. Zhuozhong, bring that person here and let me have a look." "Yes, Mississippi," the middle-aged man quickly stepped out of the airship. In just a short time, he caught up with the unconscious figure floating in the void. Then, with a wave of his hand, he grabbed the figure and landed on the bow of the void airship. Chapter 10:17. "Miss, I'm afraid this person can't be saved. He seems to have been injured by rule force. All his bones are broken, and his essence spirit is unconscious. He has fallen into a state of chaos. I'm afraid." The blue-robed girl looked at the person Zhuozhong placed on the bow and shook her head. Zhuozhong didn't speak. Apparently, he had already seen through the situation. If it weren't for the Miss's instructions, he wouldn't have brought this person to the ship. Being injured by rule force was completely different from ordinary external injuries. After being injured by rule force, it was almost impossible to recover. In other words, the bones of the person he brought would definitely not be able to recover. What's more, would the essence spirit fall into chaos? In the best-case scenario, he would turn into an idiot after waking up. No, it should be said that after waking up, he would turn into an idiot with only broken bones. The yellow-robed girl also came over. She stepped down and placed her hand on Ning Cheng's forehead for a while before letting out a sigh. He was indeed injured by the power of laws. "Zhuozhong, take him to the warehouse. After the ship goes ashore, find a place for him to settle down. It's fate that we met. This is all we can do to help." "Yes, Mississippi," Zhuozhong responded and left with the people he had rescued. "Miss, this person's sea of consciousness should be broken. I don't know where he went. The rule force is so powerful." The blue-robed girl saw Zhuozhong take the person away and spoke with some confusion. The yellow-robed girl pondered for a moment before speaking, "This side of the void, there are too many strange things. We have to be cautious. Your cultivation has been stagnant. After going home, you will have to go into seclusion for a while." Seeing that the blue-robed girl was about to speak, the yellow-robed girl raised her hand and stopped her. "Mo Yuan, I also have to go into seclusion for a while. Leave the business to my brother. With Zhuozhong's help, there shouldn't be any problems." The injured person placed in the warehouse by Zhuozhong was naturally Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng was unconscious at this time. The warehouse was a storeroom in the void airship, and it was also the place where the airship's spiritual source was located. After Zhuozhong put Ning Cheng in the warehouse, he immediately left. He didn't check Ning Cheng's body. At this time, in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, the mysterious yellow origin was scouring the sea of consciousness. After an unknown amount of time, Ning Cheng opened his eyes. The first thing Ning Cheng did when he opened his eyes was to stretch out his spiritual consciousness. He found himself in a void spaceship's warehouse. When he saw that there were still 7 cultivators in the flying ship, he was completely relieved. He should have been saved by the people on this flying ship. He was secretly glad that he had tempered his body again in the dragon cleansing pool. Otherwise, when he was blasted away by the powerful laws of the dark nether realm, it would have been difficult for him to survive. Under that kind of law, there was no way to use magic treasures to resist at all. They could only use their physical bodies to resist. At this time, Ning Cheng felt sure that Green Hat had lied to him. Leaving the dark nether realm was not possible through the pressure of the laws. Even Tao Essence Divine Emperor would be crushed by the laws of the abyssal realm as long as he wasn't a body refinement expert. Even if one could escape through this nomological pressure, only a sacred emperor at the primordial Tao and above would be able to do so. Speaking of which, did Tao integration stage holy emperors or chaotic essence holy emperors have to purposely be forced to leave by the laws? Green Hat truly was insidious. Previously, he thought that Ning Cheng was strong, so he wanted to use this method to kill him. This fellow was simply black-bellied. The two of them had no enmity. Even if he killed Ning Cheng this way, Green Hat wouldn't be able to get his treasures. Yet, Green Hat chose to do such a thing that harmed others without benefiting himself. Unfortunately, Green Hat would never have imagined that Ning Cheng was a body refinement expert who had cleansed his body in the dragon cleansing pool. Moreover, he even had a full-circle starry sky body. Not only that, but his full-circle starry sky body was also tempered by the laws of the dark nether realm. The combination of these factors allowed him to keep his life. Ning Cheng took out a few medicinal pills and swallowed them. Whether his bones broke or his sea of consciousness injured, he didn't feel afraid. He was a body refinement expert with a starry sky body and had the Empyrean consciousness transmutation pill. Even if his body was injured by the dark nether realm's laws, he could refine these laws and transform them into physical strength. Half a month later, Ning Cheng completely refined the laws that harmed his body. At the same time, his sea of consciousness, which had been damaged by the dark nether realm's laws, also completely recovered. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell into the true spirit world. Yen Ji was still in secluded cultivation and didn't know about his injuries. Ning Cheng felt slightly relieved and started to condense his spirit essence. Although he almost lost his life in the dark nether realm this time, his harvest was not bad. Not only did he successfully condense the third bridge of forgetfulness, but he also condensed the fourth bridge of Yellow Springs. Moreover, his body-forging cultivation had also reached the late stage of the starry sky body. Moreover, it was an enhanced version. As for the 3/16 fruits, it was a pleasant surprise. More importantly, he knew about the existence of the Grand Essence Underworld. The seventh Samsara bridge could only be condensed in the depths of the underworld. His current strength was still low. After he reached the second step of Tao validation and advanced to the primordial Tao, he would definitely make a trip to the dark nether realm. After condensing his spirit essence in this warehouse for a few days, Ning Cheng finally stood up and pushed open the door of the warehouse. He wanted to go out and thank the other party for saving him before leaving this void ship. You actually stood up. No, your cultivation has also recovered, this. A blue-robed girl came over and stared at Ning Cheng with wide eyes, her face filled with disbelief. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, junior apprentice sister, for saving me." Ning Cheng didn't know the age of this blue-robed girl, but she didn't look old. Plus, she was only at the late-stage eternal realm, so he simply addressed her as junior apprentice sister. The blue-robed girl quickly waved her hand, "No need, no need." After saying no, she rushed out. Ning Cheng could hear her talking about her recovery from the inside of the cabin. Her exaggerated tone made Ning Cheng wonder if she was an eternal-level starry sky emperor. "Many thanks, senior apprentice sister and elder brother, for saving me." Ning Cheng walked up and thanked the yellow-robed girl with cupped fists. "Did you really recover?" The yellow-robed girl also stared at Ning Cheng in shock. His corporeal body, which had been damaged by the power of laws, had not only fully recovered, but also in such a short time. It was simply unimaginable. Only the middle-aged man who brought Ning Cheng back kept looking at Ning Cheng. The shock in his heart was no less than that of the two girls. Ning Cheng had to speak up again, "It's because of my good luck that I refined my body. That's why I recovered so quickly." This yellow-robed girl had a delicate appearance and looked gentle and soft. After hearing Ning Cheng's words, she didn't ask any more questions, but her eyes still showed surprise. Ning Cheng also didn't explain anymore. If he hadn't tempered his body with the laws of the dark nether realm, it would have been difficult for him to recover so quickly. Just when Ning Cheng wanted to say goodbye, the blue-robed girl suddenly called out in surprise, "Big Brother Su is here to pick us up." When the blue-robed girl said those words, Ning Cheng and the others also saw it. The yellow-robed girl rushed to the front of the airship with a look of surprise. Before the flight-type weapon in the distance could come over, she opened the restrictions. Seeing this, Ning Cheng had no choice but to leave the words of farewell behind. As soon as the airship's restrictions opened, a slender figure landed at the front of the airship. It was a young man with long hair and a late-stage Dao sculpting cultivation. From the looks of it, he wasn't weak. "Xiqian, you've worked hard this time. I'll accompany you next time." The man spoke in a gentle tone, with a hint of pity. The yellow-robed girl's face blushed slightly, but she still couldn't hide her joy. "Big brother Su, every time I ask you to pick me up, it takes up a lot of your time." The man smiled and patted the yellow-robed girl's long hair. "Xiqian, you're talking nonsense again. What's there to delay between you and me? This is..." As the man spoke, he saw Ning Cheng standing on the side and asked with some doubt. "My name is Ning Cheng. I was injured in the void. Many thanks to the 2 junior apprentice sisters and this big brother for saving me." Ning Cheng quickly stepped forward and cupped his fists. Since he was rescued, he naturally wouldn't use a fake name to fool people. "Yes, our airship saw him on the way. He was seriously injured at that time and hit our airship's restrictions. Miss asked Sui Zhong to save him, and he recovered well. This has nothing to do with us," the blue-robed girl quickly said. When the long-haired man heard that he was rescued, he also cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng and said, "My name is Su Yan, and we're about to reach home. If Dao friend Ning doesn't mind, you can come to my Su clan's corner. Because I've been in seclusion, I really don't know where the Su clan's corner is," Ning Cheng said apologetically. He naturally saw that Su Yan didn't really want to invite him, but because the yellow-robed girl saved him. So, he just casually said those words out of politeness. Ning Cheng said those words purely to inquire about the location. He wanted to know where the laws had sent him. After he said his name, Su Yan and the others didn't show any special expressions. Ning Cheng understood that they hadn't heard of him. This made Ning Cheng a little worried. He feared that after coming out of the Dark Nether realm, he would be too far away from the Grand Essence realm. If he was still in the void outside the Grand Essence realm, he would have to ask for directions and leave. But if he left the Grand Essence realm, he could only go to the Su clan's corner. At the very least, he had to figure out how to return to the Grand Essence realm. The blue-robed woman spoke a lot. Without waiting for Su Yan to speak, she interjected, "The Su clan's corner is also a part of the Grand Essence domain. It's just that it's at the edge of the Grand Essence domain, far away from the big sacred cities." This blue-robed woman obviously thought that Ning Cheng came from the Grand Essence domain, and she didn't guess wrong. After Ning Cheng heard the blue-robed woman's words, he felt a little relieved and quickly said, "Then I'll have to trouble you. I want to go to the Grand Essence Sea, but I don't know if it's convenient to go through the Su clan's corner." When Su Yan heard that Ning Cheng wanted to go to the Grand Essence Sea, he hesitated for a moment before saying, "I'm afraid it'll be difficult." Although the Su clan's corner is in the Grand Essence domain, it's still a year away from the Grand Essence Sea. Because the Su clan's corner is too remote in the Grand Essence realm, it doesn't have a teleportation array. If Brother Ning wants to go to the Grand Essence Sea, you can go to the Broken Spear God City first and then use the Broken Spear God City's airship to get there. Chapter 10:18. Then I'll have to trouble you. Ning Cheng quickly thanked him with cupped fists. He decided to go to Su clan's corner first and then head to Broken Thatch Spirit City from there. Su Yan was a very enthusiastic person and spoke in a measured manner. He didn't even ask why Ning Cheng got injured or why he crashed into the void airship. Ning Cheng also learned that the girl in the yellow skirt who saved his life was Su Yan's fiancée. The girl in the yellow skirt was called Su Xiqian, and she represented Su Clan's corner in doing business on the edge of the Grand Essence realm. The girl in the blue skirt was called Mo Yuan, and she followed Su Shiqian around. The middle-aged man who brought him back from the airship was called Zhuozhong, an early-stage Dao Birth Realm expert. He was also the person with the highest cultivation on the airship. Not far from the Grand Essence realm, there was a sizable planet called Isu Star. Isu Star was basically a primitive mountain range and forest. Many cultivators in the Grand Essence realm came to Isu Star to look for resources. Because of this, several large star cities were formed on Isu Star. Many chambers of commerce and clans on the edge of the Grand Essence realm chose to go to Isu Star to do business. Su Clan's corner was such a small clan. They could easily leave the Grand Essence realm and enter the void. Similarly, Isu Star wasn't too far away. Su Shiqian was a kind person, and many merchants on Isu Star knew her. Therefore, she always represented her clan to do business on Isu Star. The airship pierced through the void and entered the Grand Essence realm. It didn't take long before it arrived at Su Clan's corner. Su Clan's corner was similar to what Ning Cheng had imagined. It was surrounded by mountains and rivers, and the environment was very good. However, the spirit chi here was very average. Moreover, it was located on the edge of the Grand Essence realm, which made it not very safe. Many void demonic beasts would attack the interface from the edges. Very few would tear through the void from the center. The Grand Essence realm's laws were broken, and the boundary protection restrictions were very weak. They didn't even have the most basic blocking effect. Once a void beast attacked, Su Clan's corner could only move forward and rely on its own defensive restrictions to resist. The patriarch of Su Clan's corner was Su Shiqian's grandfather, Su Jian. Su Jian, like Su Shiqian, was very kind and enthusiastic. After knowing that Ning Cheng was rescued by his granddaughter, he became even more enthusiastic towards Ning Cheng. Not only did he bring out many spirit fruits, but he also invited Ning Cheng to taste the famous dishes of the Su Clan's corner. The wine and dishes in the Grand Essence realm all contained a powerful spirit chi aura. Therefore, many cultivators like to go to restaurants, order a few dishes and a pot of wine, and then slowly savor it. This method of improving one's cultivation and enjoying oneself was very popular. It's just that after entering the Grand Essence ruins, Ning Cheng rarely went to restaurants to eat these things. Using this kind of method to increase one's spirit essence, the speed was really too slow. After entering the Grand Essence ruins, the second Ning Cheng had to struggle with all kinds of dangers. So, how could he be in the mood to go to a restaurant and slowly savor these things? This time, he felt the Su family's passion and gratitude for saving his life. That was why he raised his cup to toast at the banquet. If Su Shiqian had not saved him, he might not have died. However, his chances of dying would increase by a lot. Not to mention the various meteorites and whirlpools in the void, even if he encountered a powerful void demonic beast, it would kill him in one bite. Therefore, Ning Cheng felt sincere gratitude towards Su Shiqian. Dao friend Ning is already at the late-stage Dao sculpting realm at such a young age. Your future achievements are bound to be limitless. Su Jian spoke up while accepting Ning Cheng's toast. No wonder he sighed. He had cultivated for so many years, but he was only at the late-stage Dao birth. Ning Cheng quickly said, "Junior apprentice sister Shiqian's cultivation isn't any weaker than mine. Her future achievements won't be any lower than mine." Su Jian shook his head, picked up his wine cup, and drank it in one gulp. He didn't explain anything. Ning Cheng didn't want to continue talking about this, so he said, "I heard that the largest sacred city in the Grand Essence domain is called the Heaven Essence Sacred City. All kinds of heavenly and earthly treasures are concentrated there, and many people come and go there. Not to mention the Heaven Essence Sacred City, there are many similar top-grade sacred cities in other parts of the Grand Essence domain. Why doesn't Su Clan's corner go to these sacred cities to do business? Instead, they want to leave the Grand Essence realm for the Yi Su star. This was indeed Ning Cheng's doubt, and Ning Cheng asked it intentionally. It stood to reason that Su Clan's corner Su Ji and hadn't heard of him. The only possibility was that Su Clan's corner had no intersection with the prosperous areas of the Grand Essence domain. Su Ji and sighed, it's not that we don't want to do business in those sacred cities, but we don't have the qualifications to do so. Not to mention that we can't afford the things in those sacred cities, even the things we bring to them won't catch their eyes. Ning Cheng vaguely understood something in his heart. At this moment, a servant walked into the hall and bowed to Su Ji and a woman asked to see the patriarch. She said that she has something to discuss with you, and she's quite strong. Hurry up and invite her in. Su Ji and quickly stood up and said. This made Ning Cheng understand Su Ji and's way of doing things. He always treated people with kindness, and no matter what happened, he would always do it with the mentality of not offending anyone. Su Clan's corner's strength was indeed weak, but Su Ji and's attitude wasn't wrong. After a while, the servant came in with a woman with a veil over her face. The woman didn't speak, but her gaze swept through the hall. Then, her gaze fell on Ning Cheng. Huh, you're here too? Ning Cheng stood up and cupped his fists towards the woman. Many thanks, senior apprentice sister, for saving me. This woman was called Roa Shi, and Ning Cheng happened to know her. Back then, the two of them teamed up to go to the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond. If not for Roa Shi, he, Yen Ji, and Shui Yueka would have all died in the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond. However, Roa Shi could only leave the hall because of his existence. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Su Shiqian and the others looked at Ning Cheng in surprise. Why did Ning Cheng get saved everywhere? Roa Shi's serious eyes flashed with a hint of a smile, and she waved her hand and said, your cultivation really shocked me. Apart from one person, I can't think of anyone who could advance to the Dao sculpting realm like you. Back then, we helped each other, not one of us saved the other. Today, I came here to discuss something with Patriarch Su. Do you have the same purpose as me? No, I want to go to the Grand Essence Sea to have a look. Ning Cheng came here to see if he could reach the Grand Essence Sea as quickly as possible and then go to the Dragon Washing Pool to cultivate for another 6 months before the 5 Realms Pill competition. Roa Shi smiled and didn't continue to talk to Ning Cheng. Instead, she said to Su Ji and, I have some private matters that I want to trouble Patriarch Su with. I wonder if Patriarch Su can have a private chat with me. After that, she didn't wait for Su Ji and to refuse and directly took out a ring and placed it in front of Su Ji and, take the things inside as a reward. Su Ji and's spiritual consciousness swept through the ring, and his expression immediately changed. He quickly handed the ring to Roa Shi, this Dao friend, I don't dare to accept these things. Ning Cheng knew that Roa Shi had a high cultivation, and the things she took out must have scared Su Ji and. After all, this matter hadn't even started, and she had already taken out such frightening things. It would have been strange if the patriarch of a small family didn't panic. It doesn't matter. As long as Patriarch Su tells the truth, whether it can help or not, I will give you these things as a reward. Roa Shi didn't take back the ring. Su Ji and's face filled with worry, and he turned his pleading eyes on Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng understood Su Ji and's meaning. As the patriarch of such a small family, he wouldn't dare to accept things from others casually. The reason why Su Clan's corner could survive here most likely had something to do with Su Ji and's kindness and cautiousness. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng chuckled and said, Patriarch Su, you don't have to worry. This senior apprentice sister isn't someone who talks nonsense. How about this, I'll be your guarantor. Ning Cheng and Roa Shi had teamed up to go to the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond, so he knew Roa Shi's temperament. She was a person of principle and wouldn't vent her anger on others for no reason. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Su Ji and could only put away the ring and said, "Then, this Dao friend and Dao friend Ning, please come with me to the inner chamber." Ning Cheng was the guarantor and knew Ruoxi. Therefore, Su Ji An's invitation didn't have any problems. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to refuse, Ruoxi nodded and said, "All right, then junior apprentice brother Ning can come with us." Su Ji An brought Ning Cheng and Ruoxi to the inner chamber and poured a cup of spirit tea for each of them before cupping his fists and asking, "Dao friend, you can speak your mind." He could feel that Ruoxi's cultivation was far stronger than his own. Although he didn't address her as senior, he still felt a little worried. Ruoxi also saw Su Ji An's worries and casually said, "Patriarch Su, you don't have to worry. I just came here to ask one thing. I heard that Patriarch Su knows of a place with weak laws at the edge of the Grand Essence Realm. Is this place the only way to leave the Grand Essence Realm and enter a new positional plane?" Su Ji An's expression suddenly changed when he heard Ruoxi's words, and he didn't speak for a while. Ning Cheng's heart moved, but he also didn't speak. He also wanted to know about this place. It was just like the graceful star mainland's heaven's way. In case he wanted to leave the Grand Essence Realm one day, this place with weak laws would be perfect for him. Ruoxi didn't seem to be in a hurry and waited quietly. The room suddenly turned silent. After a while, Su Ji An stood up, bowed to Ruoxi, and said, "Although I'm the patriarch, I can't make this decision alone. Can I ask this Dao friend to wait for a while?" Ruoxi nodded, "It's fine. Patriarch Su, please help yourself. Junior apprentice brother Ning Cheng and I will wait for you here for a while." After Su Ji An left, Ning Cheng raised his hand and activated several restrictions before asking, "Senior apprentice sister Ruoxi, don't you have an opening heaven talisman's child talisman? If you want to leave this interface, can't you just use that child talisman?" Ruoxi sighed, "I was soft-hearted and lent that child talisman to someone else. Now, I can't leave this place by myself. If I still can't find a way to leave this place, I might have to ask you to borrow that child talisman." Ning Cheng said with some helplessness, "You saved me in Yanji, so I don't mind lending you a child talisman. It's just that the child talisman on me isn't mine, but a friend of mine. Even if I lend it to you, you have to tell me how to return it to me in the future. Are you really willing to lend it to me?" Ruoxi's eyes flashed with surprise. She had just casually mentioned it. How precious was the opening heaven talisman's child talisman? Who would be willing to lend it to others? Ning Cheng smiled, "Let's not talk about me lending you the child talisman. Tell me, you don't know many people in the Grand Essence Realm, nor do you have any friendship, right? Why would you lend the opening heaven talisman's child talisman to someone else?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.